question is correct.
It's quite easy.
Let's do it.
Jesus does not
Can you
lie.
do it? All you got to do is say yes or no. Did somebody call him Lord, yes or no?
Because I trust Jesus. He said so.
Where?
Do you not understand this works?
Yes, I do. I know that he's cutting them.
Wait a minute. Where'd you get the crown?
You know what he's saying?
Where'd you get the crown? Where'd you get the crown?
What does that have to do with this?
I'm just curious. Where'd you get it?
You could never get one.
Where'd you get it?
You're talking about the crown because you get
Where'd you get the crown?
Why are we talking about my head?
Jesus is God! 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 Jesus is God!
Imitating that people. Y'all imitated. You know what's crazy? Y'all imitating the Israelites just like y'all imitated the real truth. Just like y'all imitated our laws. You're nothing but imitating, not even original.
He's upset. And then his people get loud.
No. We can do that. That's the rule. That's part of the rule.
Then don't get upset when they do it. But
I'm not upset. I'm just pointing it out if they're doing wrong.
Jesus said, you're calling me Lord, he is not lying.
Here's what I would give you. If somebody actually calls him,
hear from the person who
if
made
somebody
the crown,
actually,
I can see it there.
If somebody actually calls him Lord, I might give you some credit. But nobody calls him Lord there. So when he's saying Lord, he's cutting them. He's saying they don't do what he say. But the subject of this is Jesus the Most High God. So as I went to John 17:3, when Christ said, you are the one true God, paraphrasing, who is he talking about?
He is talking to the Father.
So did he call the Father three gods, or did he call the Father one God?
I thought you know what we believe. That's a misconception.
No, I don't care what you believe. The subject is Jesus the Most High God? So if Jesus has a God, he can't be the Most High, because there ain't a God. The whole reason for the name Most High is because there ain't nobody over him.
Can I respond now?
Yes.
All right. Am I gonna be interrupted, or can I respond?
Well, don't do that, because we've been interrupting each other, man. Don't do that. They get touchy. When they get hot, they get touchy.
It's very simple. Scholars have pointed out the verse does not say only the Father is the true God. It says the Father is the only true God. And what does the same author say at the end of 1 John 5? The Son is also true God. Therefore, he's true God. John 17:5. He shares in the same glory with the Father, claiming equality with the Father. That logically follows. This is why he can say he's Adonai Yahweh in Luke 6.
So then I guess
I'm not done. Matthew 7:21-22. He says he is Adonai Yahweh. Hebrews 1:3 says he is the exact imprint of the nature of the Father. If the Father is the Most High, then Jesus is also the Most High, because he is the exact imprint.
Now, when they start running them smorgasbords, that's how you know they full of crap. Because in John 17:3, it says, and this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom thou sent. So the only true God is him. Then he talked about glory. John 17, and if I was to read this, 23, it says, I and them and thou, 22, and the glory which thou givest me, I have given them. So I guess if we get that glory, then we God's too. No, because you can't make it about.
He's not letting me respond.
I want y'all to highlight. Now, I don't care about being interrupted, but this man said he did not want to be interrupted as he ran through about 6 verses. And then what does he do to me? So I don't want to hear nothing when I interrupt you. I don't mind it. But you wanted me to be quiet, and I was.
Good.
Thank you. Don't get mad because I check them. I got to check them. So John 17:21, when it says the glory. Now, since he ran off Hebrews and other verses like that, if I was to read the book of Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 17, hold on, let me find it. I like to read verses. I don't just like to say verses. No,
go back to that.
It ain't no Lord. Ephesians 1:17. That the God of our Lord Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So do I need to?
The God of our, and this is what's heavy. It says, the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of glory, can only be that same God that may give unto you the spirit of wisdom and revelation. So Paul clearly says the God of our Lord is Christ. So he can't be the Most High.
You done? Am I go now?
Yes.
All right.
Before you go, is this what this going to be like? No interruptions going forward? I just want to know.
Okay, I can do that if you want to do that. Yeah.
Okay, but we should give respect to each other, which we was doing before you got emotional. Go ahead, you got it.
All right, so let's go back to that. Okay. So again, I need to go back to what I said in the beginning here. I stated that on purpose. We believe Jesus is subordinate in role to the Father. We've said that, but that does not affect the substance of God. As I said, Hebrews 1:3 says he is the exact imprint of the nature of the Father. Therefore, if the Father is the Most High, Jesus is also the Most High. This is why he can say, I am Adonai Yahweh. Matthew 7:21, Luke 6:46. Matthew 7:21, he says, not everyone who comes to me and says, Lord, Lord, will be entered into the kingdom of heaven. That's the beginning. You say he's Lord, Lord, but that doesn't get you in entirely because you still got to do his will is what he's going on. So the first thing you got to do is you got to say, hey, you're clearly Adonai Yahweh. Then do what he says, and if you do that, you get in. That's what he's pointing out. Therefore, he's claiming to be the Most High in his own words.
People think that their position matters in the title of a debate. The title of the debate is not to understand what he ignorantly thinks of the Trinity. The title of the debate is to teach, is Jesus the Most High God? And so far, we have not done that. So far, we have seen agency. When Christ raised Lazarus from the dead, he said, Father, I'm only saying this publicly because you hear me always. Meaning everything that he did, he prayed and asked the Father first. This is just the first time he's asking publicly. Why? Because that's his God. In John 21, he says, I go to my God and your God, my Father and your Father. So the topic is not your misunderstanding of the Bible. The topic is Jesus the Most High God? And that has not been substantiated yet. If I read Psalms 83rd chapter, the last verse, it says that thou whose name alone is Yahweh art the Most High over all the earth. That's clean on paper. Yahweh ain't mentioned, Jesus ain't mentioned, Yeshua ain't mentioned, ain't nobody mentioned. So the onus is on you to show where Christ, and even I have a question. And the kingdom of heaven right now currently, is Christ sitting on God's throne?
Yeah.
Can you show that?
Sure. Let's do it. Let's go to Revelation. But first, I want to address what you said there. When he raised Lazarus, he prayed so they would know. But then he just said, Lazarus, come out. Because he is the resurrection, as he says in that chapter. Who raises the dead? God. Who raises the dead? In John, Jesus does. So let's go to Revelation 22.
Be careful. That's ugly. Did Peter raise anybody from the dead? Did Peter raise anybody from the dead?
Jesus.
Did he do it?
In the name of Jesus, yes.
So wait. I'm not done. I'm not done. Because Elijah raised somebody from the dead, not in the name of Jesus. Elijah raised somebody from the dead. So don't tell me in the name of Jesus as if that's the only way you could do it. If God gives somebody the power, they have the power. Matter of fact, when Paul healed that brother, you know what they did? They called Barnabas Jupiter, and they called him Mercury. You know why? Because y'all think that y'all belief that Jesus is God is something that Christians only believe. That was the Roman culture, that if you did a miracle, they attributed to Zeus, Mercury, Venus, however. So y'all accepting Jesus as God is your norm. Otherwise, in Acts the 14th chapter, when Paul healed that person, did they call him and Barnabas gods? Yes or no?
We got a problem. We're going to the pagans for our theology now.
That is your theology. That's your theology.
That's a problem.
That's your theology. That's your theology. So why you can't answer the question? Did they call them gods? Yes or no?
The pagans did, yes.
Did
the pagans? We don't.
So why did they do that? Because they performed a miracle, and now miracles are all throughout the Bible. Moses did a miracle. Elijah did a miracle. Everybody did miracles. Y'all are pagan because everybody else says that God used them to do his miracles. You pagans come and say Jesus did it because he's the Most High God. Instead of listening when Christ said the works I do are from my Father. Everything he did was because the Father gave him the ability to do so. So you're pagan.
We got a problem because you said, John 11, he prayed to God to resurrect him. Yes. I had to correct you because he doesn't do that. He prays and then he resurrects him with his own power. That's what I was pointing out.
What were you correcting again?
John 11. When he resurrects Lazarus, he just says, Lazarus, come forth. He doesn't say, God, bring Lazarus forth. That's what I was correcting for.
No, that's horrible. Because he said, you hear me always. You know why Yahweh said, you hear me always?
Will you read it?
Because he's always talking to him. This is just the first time that he was talking to him so everybody could hear. So now, when he would normally do a miracle, he would say, Pop, let me get this miracle done. He would do it. He wouldn't say it out loud. This was the first time that before he did the miracle.
Can I read it?
Yes. I'm surprised you want to read scripture. Now you want to read scripture. I'm surprised.
Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I know that you always hear me, but I said this on account of the people standing around me, that they may believe that you sent me. He doesn't pray for the miracle. He prays for the people around him so that they believe that the Father has sent him. The miracle just says, Lazarus, come out. That's it.
Why does he say, you hear me always?
Why does he say that? Because the Father hears us always. He's omniscient.
No, don't say no us. This ain't about us. This is about Yahweh. Why does he say you hear me always?
Because he's omniscient. He can hear everything.
What?
He's omniscient. It's pretty obvious.
Your man's dying. He's dying right now. Why does Christ say you hear me always? There's only one answer.
See it? Go ahead.
Because he's always talking to him. And when you say that Christ don't pray, that's a lie.
I didn't say that.
Oh, so then Christ does pray.
Of course Christ prays.
And he prays to himself, to the Most High, without the people knowing, right?
That's modalism, Patrick.
What modalism? Oh my God. When Christ prays, modalism is crazy work because Christ is not a modalist.
Right.
When Christ is praying to the Father, it's because they're two separate beings. So, but let's not get away from the point. When he said that, that's the proof that he prayed to the Father before he did any miracle. This was just the first time that he prayed in front of everybody.
Whoa, I got a question. Okay, so you said that before he did miracles, he always prayed. But
he would always speak to the Father, to be clear.
Okay, I got you.
Which is the same thing.
I got you. I get what you're saying. So according to him, what we see in John 11 is that Jesus would always pray, and then he extrapolates from that and says, well, this applies to all miracles. But when we were in Luke 6:46 earlier, and Jesus says, why do you call me Lord, Lord, but not do what he say? He's like, I don't see anybody saying that, therefore it never happened. Do you see the double standard here?
What's the double standard?
Extrapolate from John 11 and say, Jesus is always praying before miracles. But when Jesus says in Luke 6:46, you're calling me Lord, Lord, he says that doesn't work because I didn't hear anybody say
I get it now.
Double standard.
I get it now. So let me show you why I'm superior to this white man. In that verse, it says, superior. Hey, before I answer, before I answer, give all y'all a hand. Y'all are great ass crowd. Both sides. You Christians, the Israelites, y'all are great. But here's the difference between you and I. You couldn't show me the reasons why he was saying, Lord, Lord. In John the 11th chapter, the reason why Christ said, I say this, you hear me always? Because they had faith. They didn't have the faith. Remember, Lazarus is dead. And what do they say? Martha, I think it's Martha or Mary, says, if you was here, he would have been alive. He wouldn't have died. So when he says, you hear me always, I'm not juxtaposing. I'm not hypothesizing. He said out of his mouth, you hear me always. And so we can see in other instances where he prays to the Father and the Father hears him, where he speaks to the Father and the Father hears him. So if he's speaking to the Father before he does the thing that he does, he's not the Most High God. Question.
Hold on. I will say something. So first I want to say, in the name of Jesus, I am not your superior. I love you as a brother. We are called to love everyone here.
That's your Jesus.
I am definitely superior. We are all one in Christ. I want to point that out here. Second of all, you are going on what Jesus said. He said himself, the Father always hears me. But in Luke 6:46, when he says, you call me Lord, Lord, now we can't trust Jesus. We can trust him there, but we can't trust his word when he says we're calling. This is a double standard.
No, it's not. No, it's not. All I asked him, I never questioned what Christ said. I agreed with what Christ said.
Right.
I'm just talking about the context that Christ said it. He was cutting them. His context is somebody called him Lord. So I'm calling him out on his bull crap because he can't show in that verse, in that chapter, that somebody called him Lord. I'm not questioning Christ. I'm questioning your understanding because it's horrible.
Right. So let's go.
That's what I'm questioning.
So let's go to Matthew then. Matthew 7:21.
Okay, and then after you ask your question, I got a question.
Okay, you got it. So, okay, he says in 22, he says, on that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and cast out demons? 7:22. Here we have people saying he is Lord, Lord in Matthew 7:22. He says, on that day, many will say, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? Did we not cast out demons in your name? And do many mighty works in your name? So they're calling him Lord, Lord there.
Well,
actually, there it is.
Once again, Christ is saying many men. So he's paraphrasing. So I can give you an actual living example of that. When Paul and Peter, as they're doing their miracles, I think it's Acts the 19th chapter, the Pharisees see the miracles that they're doing. And then they try to cast out the demon. What did they say?
What did they say? Go read it.
They said, we cast you out in Paul's Jesus or Peter's Jesus. I believe that's the term that they say. And when they say that, the demon beats them up, correct?
Well, why don't we read it? Let's get we're not sure right now.
The reason why we're reading that, the reason why I'm saying that is because the Lord is not saying he's the Most High. Here's what happens when y'all read and get stuck on the Greek and linguistics, and this is why before we started, Christ said, I'm glad he kept it from the wise and prudent, but gave it unto babes.
30-minute word, 30-minute one.
Thank you, appreciate it. And that's it, it's only been 30 minutes. So when we look at that, the Lord is not him declaring that he's the Most High, because everything we do today is in Christ's name. Right, even right. Christians, when they pray, y'all say in the name of Jesus. Even Israelites, when we pray, we say in the name of Jesus, because he's the mediator of the New Testament. Right. Before Christ, we would do everything according to Moses. Moses was the mediator before Christ. So when you say that Lord, Lord, that's all that it is.
Hold on. Wait a minute. It would be blasphemy to say in the name of Moses because he's not God.
That's not the point. Y'all are so literal, you can't even understand it. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of doing everything. The laws, who delivered the laws?
Moses delivered the Torah.
Why did he deliver the laws?
Because he was the mediator of the old covenant. So. Thank you.
I want everybody to pay attention. Wait. I want everybody to pay attention. Go ahead. When I made the statement, if I could, Akim, if I could, when I said we do everything in Christ's name because he's the mediator of the New Testament, just like Moses is the mediator of the Old Testament, all the Christians said it was like it was blasphemy. Then I asked them, I said, who delivered the law? He said Moses. I said, why? I didn't even think he was going to say that. He said, because he was the mediator of the whole covenant. You died.
So here we got
You died. I
gotta keep explaining to you what we believe because you keep misrepresenting our beliefs.
It's not about what you believe. You notice when you hold up.
Here's the problem. I said at the beginning of this, Jesus is ontologically God, but he is subordinate in role. His role is he's the mediator of the covenant. So what? That doesn't change ontology. That was not a point. You didn't even understand the point.
They crybabies over there. We're all subordinate in role. When it says the head of Christ is God, it's not just that he's subordinate. He don't sit on that throne. In Revelations, who comes before the throne? The Lamb, right?
The Lamb does, and then he's in the center.
Wait. God. And then who's sitting on the throne?
God is, and the Lamb is there too. The Lamb is there too.
That's a good answer. The angel said in Luke the 1st chapter, when the angel was talking to Mary, whose throne was Christ prophesied to sit on?
You want me to read for you something?
That's up to you. But what I'm saying is, well, you already agree with me that God is sitting on the throne. The Lamb is before the throne. The angel in Luke, the 1st chapter, whose throne did the angel say Christ is going to sit on?
He's going to sit on the, he's going to sit, what do you say, the throne of his David? So what?
He going to sit, yeah. So
that's his role.
So is
Again,
God, wait. So is the Most High sitting on David's throne?
No.
Is Christ sitting? Wait. Is Christ sitting on David's throne?
Christ is on David's throne.
So those two different thrones, right? Wait. So those two different thrones, right?
There's two thrones because there's two persons of the.
So there's a throne that belongs to the Most High, and there's a throne that belongs to Christ.
Where is that throne now?
Wait. I'm just asking the question.
Let me.
After you answer this. Wait. After you answer this question. After you answer this, I'm gonna read. Wait. Before you read. No, I'll give you the floor. I just want to say that. So. You agree that there's a throne that the Most High is sitting on, and there's a throne that Christ is sitting on, but they're not the same throne.
No, I do not agree.
Okay, I said I would let you go.
Okay, so let's go to the end of Revelation 22. Okay, this is important because
don't do it.
It's important.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
The reason why this is important.
Don't do it.
The reason why this is important is because throughout the Bible we see that only God gets
First
certain
one,
type
right?
of worship.
First one, right?
We're going to read a couple verses.
Okay.
Only gets this type of worship called latruo. Latruo is for God. It says, let's start in verse 2. Throughout the middle of
worship, right?
City,
you said worship,
on either side of the river, the tree of life with its 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit each month. The leaves of the trees were for the healing of the nations. No longer will there be anything accursed, but the throne of God and the Lamb will be in it. And his servants will latruo him, worship him. They will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads. And night will be no more. They will need no light, lamp, or sun, for the Lord God will be their light, and they will reign forever and ever. So in there, the Lamb and God are being worshipped as latruo. Latruo is worship only for God.
So I'm gonna respond. So in Revelations 22. So in Revelations 22, I'm gonna get right to the meat where it says, I think you did 3.
Started in
and
2,
then you
3.
start. No, but the parts where it says the throne of God was 3 and then 6. When it says, and there shall be no more curse, but the throne of God and the Lamb shall be in it. That's the important thing, right? So you agree that God, Christ is sitting on him with his throne too?
They're both being worshipped, yeah.
But I ain't get to the worship part yet. But what I'm asking you is that God and Christ, both thrones, is on top of each other?
What? On top of it?
I know it's hard. I know it's hard.
Revelation is filled with symbols.
Now here's the part, and here's why I asked. Thank you. It's a vision, right?
It's a vision, yeah.
Right. So when it says in it, it doesn't mean it's literal that Christ is literally on the throne. It's a metaphor of his position, right?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yes.
Got you. But with God, got you. So if it's not literal, then Christ is not literally sitting on the throne with the Father, because the angel said he's getting the throne of his father David. So there'll be a throne that Christ sits on, and then there'll be a throne. You look at that smile coming. Then there'll be a throne. Then there'll be a throne that God sits on. Like Revelations 3:21, when it says, "They that overcome will sit with me in my throne, the same way I sit with my Father in his throne." It's what you earn for obeying the Most High. When it comes to worship, in 1 Chronicles 29, did they not worship the king too?
No, not latruo. Not latruo. Because that wasn't in Greek. That's not in
Greek. When you say latruo, what did Christ say? And when he was getting tempted in the wilderness, who did he say to worship?
In Matthew, he says you worship God alone, and he used latruo.
Right.
Matthew.
So Christ said you worship him alone.
Right.
You're saying we worship God and Christ the same.
Well, I'm just reading the scripture.
Wait, listen, all I'm saying, see, like when we talk about the Bible, if Christ says you worship God alone, latreo, like you said,
right,
you clearly don't know what Revelations 22. You already admitted that it's a vision. So now when we actually read it, when it says God and the Lamb, that's a clear separation between them two. That's right. That's why in Revelation, right? Because in Revelation, the 5th chapter, God sits on that throne by himself. There is nobody on the throne with him at all. That's why the Lamb, that like Christ post-death, is still not on the throne.
That's right.
You know why he's not on the throne? Because we're waiting for him to return and have the rulership on the throne of David. True or false?
Okay. Let me
True or
respond.
false?
Here, let me
He's
respond.
standing on the right hand of God.
Let me respond.
You can't say it's false, Roger. Can't say it. Look.
Let me respond. So he said,
Okay.
he said,
Okay.
he said it's a vision. But we also know the scriptures say that Jesus is the visible image of the invisible God. God is not literally sitting on a throne in heaven, as he said it's a vision, but they're both there in the center receiving the true worship. That's
He's not
important.
sitting on a literal
The
throne.
true worship. That's what's important there. And again,
in heaven.
he admitted it. He admitted it. Matthew, Jesus
Right.
says you should only worship Latrue, God alone.
Right.
So Jesus says that, but then in
there's
Revelation,
nothing
they're
on-
both getting Latrue worship.
So,
That's
okay,
what the true
they're
worship
not.
is God.
They're not. They're not. That's your misunderstanding of the verse. Because when it comes to worship, you can worship the king because that's who God set up. So there's no issue with worship. So I can't help it if y'all don't understand what Revelation 22 means. When it says God and the Lamb, they're not getting it. Even if I go back to Revelation 5, at the end of the chapter, it says the same thing. So Revelation 5 says, and the four beasts said, Amen, and the 24 elders fell down and worshiped him. I'm sorry, let me read the verse before that. Verse 13. And every creature which is in heaven and on earth and under earth, and such as are in the sea, and all of them heard, I saying, blessing, honor, and glory be unto him that sitteth upon the throne and unto the Lamb.
Exactly.
So I don't have a problem. The argument is not worship. The argument is Christ the Most High?
Right.
Just because God allows the king to get worship, which we can read in First Chronicles. So if I go to First Chronicles, where you at? Where you at? In First Chronicles 29, it says, 29 and 20. It says, and David said to all the congregation, now bless the Lord your God. And all the congregation blessed the Lord, the God of their fathers, and bowed down their heads and worshiped the Lord and the king. So they worship the king in the Old Testament.
So is in heaven, is God the Lord of Jesus?
Yes.
He's the Lord of Lords, right?
Yes.
Now read Revelation 17:14 for me.
Well, you can read it.
You want me to read it? I'll gladly read it. Yes. Revelation 17:14. He
You
just
said you said
17:14. He just said, in heaven, God the Father is the Lord of Lords. But what does this verse say? They will make war on the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them. For he is Lord of Lords and King of Kings.
You said 17. You said 17 and what?
17:14.
Thank you. So now when we read, when it says these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, where is that war taking place?
The war?
Yeah, where's the war taking place?
We're deviating from it. That's
No, I'm in the verse. I'm in the verse. No, you can't say that. I'm in the verse. Revelation 17 and 14 says these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. That's talking about here on earth.
Okay.
So when Christ come here, he is going to be Lord of Lords and Kings of Kings on the earth. He's not, there ain't no war in heaven where God is at that he's going to be Lord of Lords of. It don't apply. Now, that's your scripture.
Now, here's the problem. The Greek is present tense. It is not future tense.
So you saying that happened already?
Lord of Lords always.
So you saying that? So you saying that happened already?
No, I'm saying it's present.
So if it ain't happened yet, then Christ has to first go to war here, and then win here, and then he's going to be Lord of Lords here. You know why he's going to be? You know why he's going to be Lord of Lords here and King of Kings here? Because Revelations 5 and 10 says a nation of kings and priests gonna come out of Israel. So there's going to be other kings, but he's going to be the King of Kings. But in heaven, there's one King, that's the Most High. So if I read Micah 5 and 2, it says, but thou Bethlehem Ephrathah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of these shall come forth unto me is to be a ruler in Israel. We would agree, let's talk about Christ, whose goings forth have been of old from everlasting. Therefore will I give them up until the time that which she travaileth and have brought forth. Then the remnant of his brethren shall return unto the children of Israel. And he shall stand and feed in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord, his God.
Now that's important. I'm glad you brought that up. That's important because Jeremiah 32 says God is God of all flesh. Now, when Jesus took on flesh, he's flesh now. Therefore, he's got to have a God who's the Father because the scriptures cannot be broken.
Right.
Therefore,
Right.
Of course, he's got a God.
So let's focus on God, y'all.
We've never disputed that as Trinitarians. This is why I opened my thing and said, hey, but again, going back, Deuteronomy 10:17 says Yahweh is Lord of Lords. Revelation 17:14 says Jesus is Lord of Lords. Therefore, Jesus is God.
Right. So now, on the subject of God, now remember that the debate is not is Jesus God or can people be God? But on the subject of God, this is Zechariah 12:8. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God. And now we got, like, we gonna have the subject of God. Jesus ain't gonna be the only one that's gonna be God. It says the house of David shall be as God as the angel of the Lord before them. So even the title of calling somebody God is not something that's synonymous with Christ. We done found out Moses was called God, Satan is called God. We done found a bunch of people called God. But the debate is not that. The debate is Jesus the Most High God? We have not, all we read is verses that Christ says he has a God, and then my opponent tries to philosophize his Trinitarian belief that just don't line up.
Council, we got to go back to the verses you keep running from. If he is Lord of Lords in Revelation 17:14, but Yahweh is Lord of Lords, Deuteronomy 10:17, therefore he is the Most High. I've given you verse after verse. Matthew 7:21-22, Luke 6:46. Right. I can go to Mark, for example, 2:28 as well. We got Revelation 17:14. We got Revelation 22, where you see Latrell. You said I've given you several verses. Right. And instead of actually addressing them, you just go to other verses where you show Jesus as subordinate role. That fits with our position. You're telling us our position, and we're going, yeah, that's not a problem. That doesn't deal with the ontological verses like Hebrews 1:3, which I brought up as well, where he is the exact imprint of the nature of God. Therefore, he is Most High.
That's not true. Wait, don't do that. That's not true. But when you say I don't address your verses, you're being extremely dishonest. Like, if I take Revelation 17 and 14, I went right there, and did I not ask you where was that war taking place? Yes or no?
Yes, you did.
And then did I give my position that the war was going to take place here on earth, and he's Lord of Lords here, King of Kings here? Yes or no?
You did, but the problem
and then did I also reference Revelations 5 and 10 when we'll be a nation of kings and priests? So when it says Lord of Lords, King of Kings, because there's other kings on earth, then don't say I didn't answer your question.
The problem
don't be a liar here. Don't be a liar. Because I'm calling you a liar.
The problem is,
I'm calling you a liar. When you say the white man is the devil, that's why. Because you're saying I didn't answer, and I clearly answered your question. Don't do that. I don't like being called a liar.
I've never called you a liar.
You just said I didn't answer your question, but you just agreed that I just answered your Revelation 17 and 14. That is the epitome of a liar. Don't do that. You can disagree with me, just don't call me a liar.
Listen, Cap. Saying things.
Like, we've been lied enough by white
people. Saying things is not addressing my points.
I did.
By talking about the war, and I pointed out in response to you in Revelation 17:14.
I just showed how you didn't know it.
Participle. It's present tense.
Right, but we just disagreed.
Not that he will be.
But you said I didn't answer it. I did answer it. It'd be one thing if you say I disagree with his answer, but to say I didn't answer, you're calling me a liar, and I don't play that. Okay. Don't do that.
My point is, if you're going to say stuff, you need to address my point.
I did. You want that Lord of Lords. You said in heaven. I asked you where the war take place, and you wouldn't answer. You didn't answer it. Where does the war take place?
Takes place on earth. So what?
You said Lord of Lords in heaven. The verse that you pulled, you just admitted takes place on earth. So when it's calling him Lord of Lords, it's on earth, not in heaven. So now we see, once you expose the white man as the devil, you get the truth. That's what we need. That's all we want. Christ said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Come here, shower. This is nasty work. Logic.
You done?
Logic.
You done?
Somebody better. This is nasty work, right? You know it too. I'm gonna talk to you on the side after this. Look at his face. Get his face. He know it. Get his face. Nasty work.
Again. We cannot. Revelation warns: do not add to this book. what we are seeing here, Revelation 17:14, he's saying, well, you're Lord of Lords on earth. It doesn't say that. He is Lord of Lords. Why are you adding to the verse? That is a danger.
I didn't add to the verse. I just said where the verse taking place. Revelations 22:16 in heaven. Is he the root and offspring of David?
You asking a question?
All this whole time. Now he don't know if it's a question or not. Now he don't know, son. He don't know if it's a question or not.
You
Now
asking me a question or you being
I
rhetorical?
said Revelations 22:16. Is he the root and offspring of David?
Let's read 22:16.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's like one of the last chapters when you was like he was God or something like
Where
that.
he's
You
giving
said
Lutheran,
something like he was God or something like that. He said, I'll read it.
Oh, you go. Go.
Oh, no problem. I, Yahanna, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these in the churches. I am the root and offspring of David. This is after he died. So,
Yeah.
is the most high from David?
Yes.
Let me tell y'all something, man. Indoctrination is a mother school.
Can I respond now?
Of course.
Okay. All right. Once again, we've already established Jesus claims to be Adonai Yahweh, Lord of Lords, King of Kings. He claims to be Yahweh. He says it directly in Matthew 7:21, 22, Luke 6:46. Therefore, when he took on flesh, as we saw, the Most High is now has two natures. He's got a human nature. He is fulfilling the role of king as well. This is our heart.
Okay.
Very simple. Very simple.
There's no verse in the Bible that says the Most High has two nations. Two natures. There's not one single verse in the Bible that says the Most High has two natures. Look at him. Ain't none of my people yelled out a verse there. Ain't none of my people.
50-minute mark. We're gonna do 5-minute closings and then finish out
Okay,
in an hour.
that's good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You went
I
first.
went first, so he can go first.
No, you go first, man. You go.
No, you go first, man. I went first the first time.
Yeah, that's the way the debates work. You go first, I go last.
No, I mean you went first. I went first with the opening, so you go first.
That's how debates work. If you go first, the other person goes last. That's basic.
Okay,
debate.
I don't know if I need the whole. I'll go first. Listen, let me tell you something. I've been whipping his butt. I gotta say butt and sucker because the Christians they get touchy over. Right logic.
You've been beating his ass,
My man Sarnetta, give Sarnetta a hand. Give Sarnetta a hand. Shout out to Sarnetta. That's why I bought him. So I want everybody to be clear. I give my opponent, good debate. In the heated debates, you have a debate. After the debate is over, that's it. But this debate clearly showed that Christ is not the Most High. I clearly showed. Yeah, I got you. I ain't gonna need the whole 5 minutes. I clearly showed that Christ, Moses, Satan, everybody works through agency of obeying the Most High. He gives the orders. Christ obeys the orders. There is no verse that he has presented that said Christ is the Most High. All he did was give a verse and try to ontologically explain it to make it mean that. And I think that's clean and clear. There's so many different positions where he agreed with me that I think it's clean. So I don't need the rest of the time. I know it's already late. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Oh, yeah, thank you. If y'all want to find me, I am Captain Tazaria of ISCPK, under Commander General.
He's the man that came up with the term African American. Right. We from now on, we call African American. But now somebody run up on you and say, we should leave this place. You turn to them and say, where we gonna go?
They have the American flag and the symbols of red, white, and blue, but it's black people.
Right.
So it's not they're not repping who they are.
Right.
They're repping the country that they serve.
These leaders that don't care about their community, that always, just focusing on winning gold medals and championships and different things of that nature, and have no thought to the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community, it's gonna come back at home.
enough for hearing that happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood. Even Emmett Till was somewhat similar. It's once something happens to a white woman, that's the justification to kill all niggas.
At the same city, at the same time as the Klansmen, the Purple Boys had a mass march on the other in downtown, but blocks away, and did not cross paths with that.
Real Nigga University in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, Shalom Israel, what's going on? ISUBK Round Table of Truth, early morning special. Y'all know how we like to do it at least once a month. We try to come, and hit you with a early morning joint on Sunday. We also, in addition to what we do on Friday, we got a couple of brothers, that's going to be doing a Round Table of Truth cleanup. And they ain't here with us tonight. Officer Ashiaya, give him a hand. The chef of the Midwest, Officer Mapatazal, that day and time that they going to be doing that show, we're going to be coming up with that day and time very soon. We trying to get a Round Table of Truth, to you brothers and sisters as much as possible. But because of course, like Officer Yara John just coined it, we are CNN of the hood. I think that definitely belongs on another t-shirt right there. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep you informed on, of course, we got classes where we teach you Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians the truth. But most importantly, we also want to make you aware of your environment. How this empire, plans on coming down. Well, they coming down on us already. But kind of keep you informed on what you should be doing in this day and time as this American empire falls. All right. So with that being said, we're going to get right to the show today, this morning. Of course, we're going to be bringing Commander Jenny Yahanna on. This is a special presentation, of course, where we're going to go and show you how the civil rights movement was a complete failure. You know what I'm saying? Jenny Yahanna going to be joining us very shortly. Get Commander Jenny Yahanna a hand. Right. So we're gonna be going into it, a few clips, we're gonna show you the breakdown on how it failed, and how, most importantly, how that same climate during the civil rights movement, like in the 60s, how that same climate that existed, is happening right now. You see what I'm saying? And are we gonna make that same turn of joining our oppressor, or should we take another route, and not join our oppressor? So we're gonna be going over that here this morning. So with that being said, of course, like always, I want to give it up to the Most High. You understand? Yahweh in the Hebrew, the God of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. I always like to make that statement, Ashai, because we are right now, our people are following gods that don't belong to us. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that the Lord said that will happen in the Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, that we will follow gods of wood and stone. Right. Stone being Islam, wood being that Christian cross that we follow, the ideologies of those particular things, which is idol worship. We got our own God, the same God that brought our ancestors out of Egypt. You understand? During the time of the pharaohs is the God that we got to turn back to, and it's a God that we don't know. Damn near, we only God we know is the God that our oppressor has taught us, and you can't let your oppressor give you his God. You will ever be oppressed, and like we are in 2025, we still under heavy oppression. So big up to the Most High, Yahweh in the Hebrew, the nigga, like we like to call the nigga God. That's right. And of course, his son that he sent down here, you understand, to give his life for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians only. That's another big lie that's been taught, is that Christ died for everybody. When we can go in the Bible in the ISUBK and show you that is not true. That's the church is teaching you something that is not true. Christ did not die for everybody. He didn't come for everybody. Right. Out of his own mouth, he said, "I am not sent, but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Right. That don't include other races of people. I know that's hard to accept. You see what I'm saying? But in order for us to get right, y'all done, it's a lot of hard truths that we're gonna have to face. Medicine don't taste well. You understand? But once it gets into your system, it fixes you. That's right. And the only thing is going to fix us is the truth, not being like we've been lied to long enough. And because of the lies that we believe in, we are completely destroyed. So let's give it up to our King, Yahawashi Mashiach, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And of course, we got to give it up to the man with the plan, none other than Commanding General Yahanna. You understand? He's going to be joining us shortly. All right. With that being said, I also want to give it up to my host on here with me today. We got a few brothers that our normal hosts, they are not here, but we got brothers filling in. So I guess I'm gonna start like rank order, like always. To my left, I got Officer Yaradan in the building. He's here with us every week. Give him a hand. And we also got Officer Iwalam in the building. Give him a hand as well. Filling in tonight, you understand, for Officer Mayad, we got Officer Marat Ya'ala. You understand? Filling in, doing what he do. And filling in, you understand, for Officer Lamar Yala, we got Officer Asha Aya in the building. I am Captain Mal Quad, under Commander General Yahanna. We appreciate y'all joining us this morning. Let's get them likes up, you know, everything. Go ahead. General on, Commander General Yahanna. General, can you hear me, sir?
I can. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Count what kind?
Shalom, yeah. Salam.
Go ahead. Alawapa and Yah. Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatah. The water, Akim.
Give it up again for the general. General, man, we appreciate you joining us, man. 2 days later, we back in the game, sir.
If I could, Cap, first of all, it's an absolute ridiculously insane honor to be here among y'all. And I'll tell you why. Because even the most radical black leaders did not have the knowledge that we have today.
Damn right.
They didn't have the knowledge to sustain this battle, this spiritual battle that it takes to return Christ's kingdom.
Yes, sir.
And I'll be coming out with a tape next week, probably Wednesday, if I could just plug a tape real quick.
Please, get down, General.
On how H. Rat Brown was sucked in, like so many others, through the prison system and destroyed. Who he was one of, if not the most powerful, one of the most powerful speakers of the 60s on our struggle. And of course, the slave master broke him down, used him, and worked psychological warfare on him and brought him to his knees. Because he was one of the most powerful ones back then. He was accredited with having Cambridge University burned to the ground. Most black people don't even know about that. But they broke him down, and I'm going to be coming out with a tape to show everybody why. And as I look at the strength in the brothers in the Israelite School UPK today,
damn right, John.
I first thank the Most High for every last one of you and your strength. I so do. And these sisters. And I thank the Lord for the sisters as well, for being so strong as well. Big shout out to Nadia. You hang in there, sis. We with you all the way.
Damn right, sir.
The sisters who have joined and her amazing husband. I mean to leave her amazing husband out as well. You understand, for doing an amazing job down there in I think he's in Midwest with you, if I'm not right. Am I right?
The brother in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay, so what part of the earth is that?
That's the South. That's considered the South.
Okay, that's in the South, Nashville. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So once again, great brothers and sisters all over the country doing an amazing job. So big shout out to all of us, all of you, all of us. I'm involved as well too. So that's why it's so great to be here. And it's great to be here to talk about what we're going to talk about. Because this right here, what we're talking about and the things we've been talking about is what should be being taught in school.
That's
right. You know what I mean? The white man is the devil. The Bible
damn right.
And we must hold to that credo no matter what happens in this earth.
Damn right.
Because to be broken from caring for your own and being broken from focusing on the 12 tribes of Israel to some etheric greater idea that God will help everyone as they go to help themselves is the most ridiculous idea in the world. And it is yet poured into our brothers and sisters in churches, in mosques, in so-called white trained Jewish organizations, and it is destroying us in this earth. So I just had to say that, and I can't say enough about how valuable righteous men, prophets of God are. It's such the system that the Lord called for us to come forth. Big shout out to Captain Cesaria. Ripped them out there, man. You understand? In Washington Square Park, that was an amazing display of the knowledge of the Most High and the truth that nobody could come up against it. You understand? And they crush it. They used religion for years to crush us. Not anymore. Our eyes are open now, Cap. So thank you, Cap, for your strength and for inviting me.
Damn right. We appreciate you, John. John, I want to. You said there's something that was so heavy about how the white man is the devil, and I like to ask you. We got of course, General. We got a whole thing laid out, a few clips that we're gonna be playing. We're gonna kick it off with showing some of our people that were rebellious. You know what I mean, to the civil rights leader. You know what I'm saying, which is contrary to popular belief that all black people were down with Martin Luther King and these other civil rights leaders that push for us to integrate. So we're gonna jump into that. But before we jump into that, I wanted to ask you, said something so heavy when you said that the white man is the devil. Why do you think a lot of our people are scared of that statement and kind of stray away from that statement when we make it?
Well, because the white man, who is, an extremely horrifying human being, you understand? I'm not even sure he's even supposed to be around other human beings because he is such a vicious, thoughtless, callous creature that it brings fear to black people. Right. And rightfully so.
Right.
Rightfully so, because if every black person, as a matter of education, just took 30 minutes one time in their life, just once. If you said to yourself, for one time in my life, I'm going to go and research specifically, mostly, thank you, on YouTube. If you came down and said, I'm going to spend 30 minutes of my life, I'm going to do this one time. And especially for those of you that are highly educated and have never looked into it, if you spend 30 minutes just looking at what was done to us in slavery and kept in mind and said to yourself, before you started, said to yourself, I'm going to look at this in this light. What type of person would be this cruel? Right. And then you go and do the research and you would find out that that you could not have thought of all of the cruel acts that were done to our people in slavery.
Right.
And then if you feel even more venturous, then you would take another 30 minutes to just go into what happened to us in the 60s when we got finally frustrated after being emancipated in 1865.
Right.
And then we're in 1960, 95, almost 100 years afterwards, living in ultra poverty. And they'll tell, and you'll find the stories. Some children had a half an orange was their entire meal from the time they woke up until dinner time that night. Through school and everything, a half an orange and the vitamin C in that half an orange was all they had to eat. They had to go to school with hunger on their mind,
right,
the whole entire time. And when you see these cruelties and then see what they did to those mighty brothers who thought it best to just step out and help these people,
right,
like the Black Panthers and others who just started as political parties to feed and clothe these black people.
General, if I may,
yes,
I just want to say, I just had to say this so heavy. You are bringing out about the Black Panthers and feeding them. We actually just got notified right before the show that we're going to be on a podcast tonight called All the Facts, where we sit down with Fred Hampton's son, Fred Hampton Jr. We're gonna be doing we're gonna be on with that brother tonight.
amazing.
Slock, I just wanted to say that because you brought it up.
No,
Slock.
I think that's amazing, man. And big out to those that host that show. And of course, big out to y'all, big up to y'all. Everybody should try and tune into that. You understand?
Yeah,
and it'd be interesting to hear whether his son has been broken.
Yes, sir.
And have now become really a de facto agent for Esau without even knowing it, or has he remained, regardless of what he thought, to the things that his father stood on and is continuing to push forward in that direction? Because many brothers in the 60s seeing the horrors of war, because that's what it was. They took war on us for asking to have human rights. But asking to just help ourselves, they went to war to destroy us, which is the spirit of this man, which is why, like I mentioned earlier, I understand the fear on black people. But there are always men that the Lord raises up with strength. And now, in this time, the Lord is raising up the prophets of God.
Damn right.
And this is this level here. They believe that they're more prepared for now. Right. And also, too, every black person should see the Israelite School of UPK. We've been operating since 1969.
Damn right.
We have never rioted. We have never burned down a building. We've never blew up a car. We have never assassinated anyone. We have been capable of it.
Right.
We have been more than capable of it.
That's right.
But we have never, ever done that.
Damn right.
And in the near future, as you see the white man begin to accuse us of every one of those things I just said, it'll be simply because of his fear. His fear not of anybody overthrowing him, but his fear of you just existing is why he would do that. So keep that in mind. Now is the time to be strong.
Damn right.
So I just wanted to add that and plug that, man, that's coming up. Everybody should check that out. Coming up, and definitely should check out your podcast coming up with this brother on the podcast. You should get all the information and plug that. So I yield. I just wanted to bring that out the water.
Damn right. Give it up. Damn right. And we definitely we gonna plug it, and we towards the end of the show, we're gonna be a guest on All the Facts with Fred Hampton Jr. tonight. We encourage everybody to please tune in. You know what I mean? What the general was bringing out was so heavy. Salaki Mariah.
So if I could, I know it's not on the topic. I just want to bring out the story about this sister, man. It's terrible. It's a sister named Mary Turner, 8 months pregnant, out of Briggs, Georgia. She was lynched for speaking up against the white man for killing her husband. You know what I'm saying? So this is real graphic. If I could say, on May 19th, 1918, a white mob from Brooks County, Georgia, lynched Mary Turner, a black woman who was 8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Now at Folsom Bridge, 16 miles north. Okay, so now it's saying, the mob bound her feet, hanged her from a tree with her head facing down.
Yeah.
Threw gasoline on her and burned the clothes off her body. Mrs. Turner was still alive when the mob took a large butcher knife to her abdomen, cutting the unborn baby from her body. When the baby fell from Mary Turner, a member of the mob crushed the crying baby's head with his foot. The mob then riddled Miss Turner's body with hundreds of bullets, killing her.
Now, can I add to that? Can I
Get
jump
down.
in on that?
Get down, General.
Because I think we hear these stories in a chamber, in an echo chamber. But you need to imagine for yourself, if you're a black woman in America, married to a white man, especially, but if you're a black woman in America, just think for 1 minute what it would be like for somebody to tie your legs up, swing you up on a tree, feet first, head pointing the ground, take gasoline and light you on fire while you're pregnant. You burn up all your clothes, your skin. Now remember, gasoline runs down your body. So your face, your hair, everything has been burned up. Now while you're burned up, you're still alive. You're still alive, and they cut your stomach open, and your baby falls out in front of you, rolls down your breast and rolls down your face and hits the ground right below you. You're looking down. You're upside down. You're on fire. You looking down at your baby that's just been cut out of your stomach. And while you're looking down at that baby, somebody comes and stomps on your child. Now, remember now, you're not a terrorist.
Right.
You haven't bombed America. All you were was his slave in 1918.
Right.
That's all you were. You were his slave in 1918. Now your baby's on the ground. He stomps and kills and murders your baby before your eyes.
Right.
Who you tried to hold on to the whole time. And then on top of that, they open fire so everybody can get a part of slaughtering you. This is what Donald Trump wants you to forget.
Right.
Donald Trump wants to wipe this out. He don't want this brought up in history no more. Because if it's brought up in history, people would just look at you like an incredibly evil monster.
Damn
but
right.
somebody who has not been your enemy, who's been your slave, somebody that did not kill your family and children, but he has been your slave.
That's
somebody that made your country last because they worked their hands off to the nub to get that cotton into the cotton gin so it could be sold across America and in Europe so that America could be made rich.
That's right.
That is how that person treats you. Now, you tell me the white man is not the devil. And by all means, bring me the good acts that he's done that matches just what this brother just described.
Damn right.
It is insane. Salakia.
Damn right. I just want to piggyback on that by saying, and this is something that they want us to forget.
Right.
They want to bury. They don't ever forget what the things that didn't happen to them.
Right.
But this is something that they want us to forget. And as a black man, I feel extra insulted when you got these heathens that come from other countries, namely Africa, that look down on us like we a piece of garbage and don't even know the terrorism that we went through in this damn place. And then they wonder why they're talking about why we can't get out the position that we in. We can't get out the goddamn position that we in because we being oppressed in this damn place. You hear the story that the brother just brought, and that's just one sister who belly they cut open and stumped on her baby, man. That's just one story of the oppression that we didn't deal with. And then you got these heathens that come to America, you know what I'm saying, and gain off of the blood, sweat, and tears that we put down and got the nerve to look at us and shake their head, you know what I'm saying, and discuss with all the goddamn hell that we didn't been through. I mean, this is insanity what we up under. I just wanted to say that, General Salaki. You know what I mean?
Listen, you so right, you so right. Like when Donald Trump deport these people from these other countries and they lose their houses and their cars and their bank accounts and separated their families and all of this, I hope that they remember who the white man is after that. I hope they have a renewed appreciation for blacks and Latinos, you understand, who have been in this country for generations, you understand, and who served in this country. I hope they have a renewed respect. You understand? I hope when you talk about a black man after that or a black woman in your country, I hope you make sure you put some respect on who we are.
Damn
you talk about a West Indian or a wonderful Latino or Puerto Rican, I hope you put some respect on it then.
That's
you obviously can't do it now.
Right.
You too busy trying to get your money so that you don't give a damn about us.
Right.
You come to America and follow the program of America. You want to get rich, hate the niggas.
Right.
You want to make money, exclude the niggas. You want some cash, set up a business in the niggas area.
Right.
But above all, don't ever love and respect and appreciate what the niggas have ever done for you. But you will after a while.
Damn right.
I hear some feedback, Cap. It might be my phone. Yeah, a horrible feedback.
You coming through clear on this end, General.
Okay, then it might be one of y'all phones then, because I'm getting a little feedback, not steady, but a intermittent feedback going back and forth. It just stopped. So whatever somebody was doing, maybe they fixed it.
Okay, no sweat.
No
sweat, General. We're gonna get into this first tape, General, to kind of show one of the black leaders that a few people may be familiar with who kind of was against, you know what I'm saying, the civil rights leader. We talked about this brother actually the other day, you and I, General. This brother named Stokely Carmichael. We're gonna go ahead and play a tape of his. Go ahead, Rob.
Policy was that nonviolence would achieve the gains for black people in the United States. His major assumption was that if you are nonviolent, if you suffer, your opponent will see your suffering and will be moved to change his heart. That's very good. He only made one fallacious assumption. In order for nonviolence to work, your opponent must have a conscience. The United States has none.
For more great content.
Jerry, you want to chime in on that one?
I so want to. I don't want to hog up the show.
Man, no, Jenna, get down. That's what we brought you here for. This is why you the leader of Black Hispanics and Native American Indian, man. Like we didn't heard so many. Damn right, give it up, Baki. Right. We have heard so many voices before yourself, Jenna, that have not benefited our cause at all. So please, Jenna, please get down if you could, Jenna.
Well, Most High Christ, talking to water for those kind words. And brother, you know what I mean? That what you saying is the absolute truth. What you saying is the absolute truth in what is going on out here.
Damn right.
In other words, what Stokely was bringing out was how flawed Martin Luther King and the Big Six movement was. Like that movement that they were on was totally not born by Black people.
Right.
They hijacked Black people's anger and rebellion and turned it into the Martin Luther King nonviolent, stupid ass movement. You understand? And I'm not advocating violence to nobody.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is this. And you don't have to advocate violence to the white man.
Right.
If you just help yourself, the white man will come to destroy you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be fighting in defense of the white man if you just try to help yourself.
Right.
If you just organize and come together, you ain't got to never harm him.
Right.
You ain't got to never attack him. He's going to attack you. If you don't believe me, ask Russia. If you don't believe me, ask the Palestinians.
Right.
If you don't believe me, ask Iran.
That's right.
Ask Lebanon. Ask Venezuela.
Right.
Ask Bolivia. Ask anybody.
Right.
You don't got to attack him. All you got to do is help yourself.
That's it.
And he'll come call. So what Stokely is saying is right. And what Martin Luther King and the Big Six was saying, it was absolutely insane. How the hell do you expect after that story we just read? That story Mariah Allah just brought out.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell? Now remember, how you gonna be in the 60s? No civil rights, being treated just like they're trying to start to treat us now. We in the beginning of them trying to treat us like the 60s. Mm-hmm. So imagine you in the full swing of the 60s and you hearing stories like that. And then you turn around and tell Black people that their success is if you lay down and let them beat you more.
Right.
You lay down and be abused more. Brother, Martin Luther King was a government program. But I don't believe Black people was that dumb.
Right.
There's no way Black people was that stupid. And all these leaders, this cat you bringing out, Stokey and others, all of these are the guys that they were worried about. This is the guys that they wanted to eliminate. So they turned around to eliminate them. They turned around and brought the Big Six in and took over the movement.
Right.
So that all those guys could get suppressed. And they're gonna find one. They're gonna find one for us. A good Uncle Tom. I think they tried it with the Peg Boy. But he got caught. You know what I mean? He reminded me of Martin. Martin used to love to do that freaky thing with them white girls.
No doubt.
And so they used Martin because he was perfect for that. They could always pull his plug on what was going on with him. That's why he said he got those calls right before he went and did the I Have a Dream speech. Because they were letting him know, you go out there and have that, we're going to expose all the nastiness you're doing. And that's what they must have did with this brother.
That's it.
They must have been trying to use him and then expose what he was doing. And they'll do the same with the Purple Cats. After a while, his record will come out too.
That's it.
It'll come out all the little boys in Africa or whatever other sexual deviances that's going on in that group. All those closet homosexuals in that Purple group. all of that will be coming out after a while.
Damn
So
right.
so Stokey was dead right in what he was saying. That's the
Damn
only
right.
flaw with that situation.
Damn
The only
right.
flaw with that is that this man has no conscience.
Damn
So
right.
and what's the proof of it now? Who was right? Was Martin right or was Stokey right? Because here
Right.
we are in 2005. Donald Trump is talking about deporting all the Latinos and talking about locking up as many black men as he can in private prisons run by his own homies. He ain't even trying to hide it. He's trying to set up a new slavery, a new set of private prisons. He's trying to take away all of our rights, separate us from our families, destroy us all once again. And guess what? And we're going to take on the philosophy of Martin Luther King.
Right.
Stokely was dead right. He was right back then. And had we listened to him back then, we would not be in this mess we are in right now.
I mean, I think what you just bringing out so heavy, General. It's like these leaders, you know what I mean, starting in the 60s, when 60s was a very crucial year because black people were fed up with the oppression and was ready to explode. And this didn't happen decade after decade, damn near. And the white man being the devil, you know what I mean, which means deceiver and liar, he goes and go get the most Uncle Thomas leaders, you know what I'm saying, and make them our leaders, you know what I'm saying, which we're gonna go over here tonight, you know what I'm saying, which would totally puts us in the wrong direction, and which that happened in the Bible as well, where the Lord said it arose wicked men that said, let's join, you know what I'm saying, our oppressors. Right. And that's what people don't understand. Any man that's telling you to join a nation that hates you and that has always hated you, even before America. That's why understanding history before American history, you would know that these people have always hated us. So the wrong thing, it is a sin to join, or you in that church all day and night, don't know that it's a sin to join white people. You know what I'm saying? Namely in following their gods, and namely also in joining them as far as sexually, you know what I'm saying? Because if you join them man and woman, woman and man, then you're going to take on the gods of that people. So for our leaders to be pushing integration, what you said was so heavy, General, they was set up by white supremacy, you know what I'm saying, to have us moving in the wrong direction, basically to destroy us. You know what I mean? So what you saying, General, is so heavy, you know what I mean? We got another tape too, General, that is right in line with Stokely Carmichael. Where we going next with it, Raj Karab? Please.
So we heading to next with us. The next video, Malcolm X exposes the Big Six. That's what we got next. Sir.
Let's get it.
Oh, this would be interesting.
Count out of one kind, General.
They said these Negroes are doing things on their own. They're running almost as a leader. Plus, even financially, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was in financial trouble. Plus, it was in trouble, period, with the people when they failed to desegregate Albany, Georgia. Other Negro civil rights leaders of so-called national stature became fallen idols. As they became fallen idols, began to lose their prestige and influence, local Negro leaders began to stir up the masses. In Cambridge, Maryland, Gloria Richardson. In Danville, Virginia, and other parts of the country, local leaders began to stir up our people at the grassroots level. This was never done by these Negroes whom you recognize of national stature. They controlled you, but they never incited you or excited you. They controlled you. They contained you. They kept you on the plantation. As soon as King failed in Birmingham, Negroes took to the streets. King got out and went out to California to a big rally and raised about, I don't know how many thousands of dollars. Come to Detroit and had a march and raised some more thousands of dollars. And recall, right after that, Wilkins attacked King, accused King and the Corps of starting trouble everywhere and then making the NAACP get him out of jail and spend a lot of money, and then they accuse King and Core of raising all the money and not paying it back. This happened. I got it in documented evidence in the newspaper. Roy started attacking King, and King started attacking Roy, and Farmer started attacking both of them. And as these Negroes of national stature begin to attack each other, they begin to lose their control of the Negro masses. And Negroes was out there in the streets. They was talking about, we're going to march on Washington. By the way, right at that time, Birmingham had exploded, and the Negroes in Birmingham, remember, they also exploded. They began to stab the crackers in the back and buzz them upside the head. Yes, they did. That's when Kennedy sent in the troops down in Birmingham. So, and right after that, Kennedy got on the television and said, this is a moral issue. But that's when he said he's going to put out a civil rights bill. And when he mentioned civil rights bill and the Southern crackers started talking about they were going to boycott it or filibuster, then the Negroes started talking about what? We're going to march on Washington, march on the Senate, march on the White House, march on the Congress, and tie it up, bring it to a halt. Don't let the government proceed. They even said they were going to go out to the airport and lay down on the runway and don't let no airplanes land. I'm telling you what they said. That was revolution. That was revolution.
Stop it right there. Jenna, you want to chime in on this part?
I sure would love to.
Please.
I tell you, boy, like he was bringing up such a good point. Like they was in charge of black people and was running black people for a good while. And then black people, they started to lose their movement because black people started seeing that they were trying to get them to join these people. And these people were doing nothing but harm to them. And they started rebelling and they became violent because they had no proper leadership. So they started, beating the hell out of white people. And Kennedy, the same one they looked to give them civil rights, called in the troops on. And he called those troops in. And that, was their way of trying to quell it down. And of course, it exploded into riots. And let me tell you something now. There's no black leader that needs to be charged with what went on in the 60s. The radical black leaders only spoke what was going on at the time.
That's right.
What was really happening to blacks and Latino. Unfortunately, we were much, much wiser and stronger back then. Right now, we are 10 times worse in our ignorance now than we were back then. We were way wiser back then. We were way clearer. We're going to get clear again because this man going to come out his thicket and show us what he really made up. That's what's getting ready to happen to us now. But what Malcolm was saying was so true. Malcolm knew the Big Six was not for the Lord's people.
Right.
He knew enough to know that what they were moving with was going to get us killed and destroyed. And it did. And it got us the civil rights movement. For those that believe they did such a great job, it got us the civil rights movement. Only problem was, once we got the civil rights movement, we went to sleep on all the programs they brought forth afterward. All those civil rights programs, every last one, HUD housing, welfare, you name it. All of those programs that they brought forth after that just walked us into the most utter poverty that we're in right now today. Right now, today in America, black people are in the exact poverty we were in the 60s. Meanwhile, America has risen to the #1 superpower in the world and is setting up bases in space, okay, and living deliciously across the earth and have gobbled up many nations and have pulled it up under them while we sat in these holes dying slowly, never helping ourselves. And the ones of us that did, this man went and murdered and destroyed and separated and incarcerated and fed them with lies of Christianity and lies of Islam and all kinds of drugs, and then wiped us out and left us in this same position. And now they don't want to wait through another revolution of us waking up. They want to just kill us off wholesale. They want to kill us off, incarcerate us in cages, and turn around and use us for whatever they, and they really want to do it now more than ever because they know that they are going to go try to gobble up the world because even the world is trying to get away from them. That's what the whole Brexit is about. The entire world is smelling the coffee on the white man.
That's it.
That it comes around every 20 years. And they know it. And they know they got to go to war with those nations. And since they know they got to go to war with those nations, They want to make sure that they have full control over us and get everybody out the nation, out the country that they know might decide to go on the other side. And that's their prerogative. That's they want to do that. That's up to them. But it's going to destroy the economy of this country, which they're fine with because they want to go digital. But what Malcolm said was true and right. And we should not make that mistake again. Black leadership in the Christian church are enemies to God's people. Tell you straight up and down. Black leaders in the Muslim mosque are enemies to God's people. And you can't ever trust any man that gains a religion in prison and comes out and tells you to follow him. Because the prison system is controlled by the white man. You chemically controlled by the food. You electronically controlled by the music. You're controlled by the environment. He decides what he does. Don't you know that many of these gangs in prison are run by the clandestine 3-letter alphabet groups? They're run by those groups. And those groups decide what happens in those prisons, which means they decide what happens to you.
That's
and
right.
You come out of that prison, you may not come out as the same person. And you can't be trusted to come out as the same person. So none of that is beneficial to us. What Malcolm said right there was absolutely right. And I'm not a Muslim, and I don't believe in anything about Islam and anything he says concerning Islam. But what he said there was nothing but the truth and honest breakdown of what went on back during that time with these fake leaders that they put together. Salaki, I yield.
Damn right. Appreciate you, John. Go ahead, Awalon.
Come on, if I could, sir. These religious leaders and civil rights leaders, they remind me of modern day scammers. Like a scammer would go into an old woman's bank account and clear it out with no conscience and feel no remorse about what they did. And it's the same with these leaders. They are going to the mind of black people and teach you to love your enemy and hate yourself and have absolutely no conscience of what they're doing to their people. And they know what they're doing to their people, but they just don't give a damn.
Damn right. Damn right. Jenna, we're going to skip up to another minute mark on this tape. Go ahead, Rob.
Open the news media across the country at their disposal. And then they begin to project these big six as the leaders of the march. Originally, they weren't even in the march. You was talking this march talk on Hastings Street. Is Hastings Street still here? On Hastings Street. You was talking the march talk on Lenox Avenue. And down on, Fillmore Street. And Central Avenue. And 42nd Street and 63rd Street. That's where the march talk was being talked. But the white man put the big six ahead of it. Made them the march. They became the march. They took it over. And the first move they made after they took it over, they invited Walter Reuther, a white man. They invited a priest, a rabbi, and an old white preacher. Yes, an old white preacher. The same white element that put Kennedy in power labored, the Catholics, the Jews, and liberal Protestants. Same clique that put Kennedy in power joined the March on Washington. It's just like when you got some coffee that's too black, which means it's too strong.
So, like, Jenna, you was that it, Raj? Oh, okay. You stop right there on the minute mark. Oh, go ahead, Jenna. You can chime in and whatever you want, Jenna.
Yeah, I just wanted to I just wanted to say that the most powerful thing that he said in that minute mark on that clip was how these men were not even in the movement. These men were not even in the move. And the reason he named all those streets, for those that may not know, he named those streets because what he was trying to say is that you were talking about coming up against the evil of this place on the street. You wasn't talking about it where they wanted you to talk about it. You understand? You where they were talking about it. They were talking about it in, you know, the halls of their churches. But black people were talking about this on the street corners. He named the streets. That's how much they were talking about. Because they were naming it like this was coming up from the grassroots. And the white man is not stupid. He turned around and said, yo, let's go get our own people, put some money behind them, and put them in charge. Now you know why the Israelite school of UPK, people always love, and I believe these are agents anyway, but you know why people always say to us, why is it that you Israelites won't join no other Israelite groups? Y'all won't even come together. Right. Because we're smart enough to know that that is exactly what the slave master would do. He'll take them purple homosexuals that have no morals and set them up as an Israelite group and have you believing that they are the great group that everybody should join, and you won't even know that you're joining a group that's there to make sure that you never.
We lost you on the sound, General. I don't know if you can hear me, General, but we lost you on the sound. That's on us? Okay, it's on the General. Ain't no sweat. Listen, we're gonna bring
Cap, you there?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Cap, you there?
Yep. Can you hear me, General?
I can hear you.
Yeah, you back in the game. We had lost you for a second, General. You back in the game.
Come. My Wi-Fi been acting up over here. I'm not sure what this is. But
no sweat.
My point is that, you know, before that time, you know, our people was already working on it. And the Israelite school UPK, we don't affiliate with no other group on the planet. There's a reason for that, because many of these groups, damn right, many of these groups, we don't know who started those groups.
Right.
That's why I always tout my pedigree. And the men that came with me, their pedigree, because we're not moved by Esau.
Right.
But many of these groups have been moved by Esau.
That's right.
You understand? And he moves cunningly in the music industry, in the film industry. You understand? In all industries, he will take that same homosexual guerrilla Hebrew after this pegging moment, and he will go and make that homosexual a superstar in front of everybody, and he will make him a superstar so that young men could hopefully be seduced into giving up standing for the Most High in Christ and start to pursue a career in music or in whatever it is they got going on with him. That's why they brought him up there for that interview. When they brought him up there for that interview, I said, look at this here. Look at this here. And listen, we ain't going to play it tonight, but Charleston White also came out and proved, whether he knows it or not, that they are backing him. They got control of him. They're the ones making him famous.
Right.
Because they're using him in the background for the time that they need to have him turn on brothers like us.
Yep.
So they've been doing stuff like this in the dark. And brother, we can't fall for that. And Malcolm saw it as well. That's why he came up against them. The Six and all that movement had nothing to do with this. Martin Luther King's top cabinet said that they worked for the government. They came Abernathy, Jackson.
Yeah.
I think it was one other, and I'm not sure about Andrew, but I know the other two definitely worked at some time for the government. They were almost like his handlers in what they would do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that is, brother Salakia. So that is you know what goes on. So what Malcolm is saying about him is absolutely right. We got to pay attention, man. We got to pay attention to who they are trying to put over us as they destroy us. And now it sounds like now this time they may not even want to put nobody over us. They may want to just try to go ahead and straightforward destroy us. But they're going to run into the hand of the Lord because we're his chosen people.
Right. Go ahead, I will. Get down.
If I could,
please.
General, I mean, just throwing a shout out there. I've been seeing like a lot of development technology and like robots. Do you think Esau in this attempt to destroy us, will he like try to replace our workforce with AI technology and robots?
Yeah,
Fill that void.
Oh, he is absolutely damn right. He's absolutely doing it. You in the most modern day Egypt you could ever be in. He wants to replace farming and food with robots. Like the ultimate having no conscience and having no fear of God like you should makes you operate. You go right here to this, because here's the world he's looking at. He's looking at a world where you trapped in a city like a slave, and you are in slavery. It's just a good slavery, so you don't really realize that you're in slavery. You've been in slavery this whole time. The whole time from the 60s to now that we thought that we had civil rights. In essence, we were just in slavery, and he was just using our hard labor. And even when we talk about how black people produce $1.6 trillion a year, black people love to talk about that like we handling so much wealth and power. When you only handling that wealth and power because you're pouring it back into him. Because the taller paper you get to wipe your behind, you got to go to him to get. So that's the only reason he letting you get to that 1.6 million. Only reason you get into the fancy car, the Mercedes Benz or whatever, is because that money goes back to him with interest and finance charges. You understand? So he's not taking a loss. You're taking the loss. At the end of the day, we have not moved an inch forward since the 60s. And so, yes, he plans on bringing those robots. Here's the world he would love to live in. You're in a cage in a city where he controls, just like it is now, where you can't drive outside the city without getting pulled over by some hit cop trying to arrest you or kill you. So you're kept in the city and don't want to travel. And on top of it, he'll have a machine out there growing all the fruits and vegetables that you're supposed to get, harvesting it, bringing it in, selling it to you. So he don't have to now hire you. Now you getting ready to go into a world where you still buy everything and he don't even have to hire you no more. And then on top of it, he wants to go fabricate the meat in a vat, you understand, before your eyes. So it'll be artificial meat that he grows, and he'll once again sell you that, and he don't have to pay you the labor no more. So you buy your fruits and vegetables from him and the robots. He'll make all the money. You'll slowly starve. And then he'll just do something like come up with a vaccine that he can grow inside the vegetables. So while you're eating your broccoli every day, you understand, trying to become healthy, you know, you'll eat your broccoli one day and a third of the black community will get wiped the hell out. And nobody will understand why. And he'll call it a horrible tragedy and blame you for it. It was the way you've been living, black people, your high blood pressure, your this, your that. That's what caused this, when the whole time it'd be him doing it. It's just him. The white man is the same. He only cares about a few things in the earth. He cares about eating and having every dime in the earth. He cares about sex. He'll have sex with a horse, a goat, a sheep, whatever. A human. He cares about that. He cares about incarcerating and enslaving the whole world because he's a scaredy cat by nature. And he don't want nobody else to have nothing else in the earth but him. That's what he'll come to. That's what he cares about. Those are the things that he cares about. And of course, he most definitely cares that the 12 lost tribes of the children of Israel never come back to their identity, never come back to who they are. That is the most important to him. And that's all he cares about. Everything else after that is just, you know, for convenience and fun and play. And of course, except for war. That's the other thing he cares about.
Damn right.
Put as his top priorities.
Damn right. Damn right. Give it up. Give it up. Go ahead. How's it going, bro?
Yeah, Salakia. I just wanted to piggyback on what the general was saying. It was so heavy because, you know, listening to people in the black community, you hear us say so much. Oh, it's our problem. We got this issue. We got this issue. You know, black on black crime, and we don't know how to spend our money right, and all of these issues. But we never want to look at the cause and effect, like what happened to us and how we in this condition.
Damn right.
You know, we
Damn
quick to
right.
blame ourselves, but we don't really look at the enemy we got while we in the midst of an issue or midst of a problem.
Damn right.
We quick in our community, we quick to point the finger at ourselves, but if we wake up and realize we got an enemy that we've been fighting, you know what I'm saying? Then we'll come to a point where we can actually know the problem and then get to a solution.
Damn
You
right,
know what
man.
I'm saying?
Right. I think if I could, you know what I mean, it was General was saying earlier that I mean this man that oppressed us so severely that it's you kind of gain a fear of even want to look at, you know how you be scared of somebody, they walk in the room, you don't even want to look at them, right? Because they didn't beat you down so bad, like a big bullet, you know what I'm saying? And the thing of it is that the white man is a scary individual to us. You understand? Because of the oppression that he had. Get me right on that. Even the oppression he didn't put down on us causes fear. But of course, you know, being in the truth, we learned that the only thing that we can fear is the Most High.
That's right.
We ain't supposed to fear this man no matter what he done to us, because when you fear him, you know what I'm saying? General Muhammad taught us this in class. I remember like it was yesterday. Whatever you fear, you're going to serve.
Right.
And that's part of our problem is that because we fear the white man so much, we serving them. And our leaders who've been leading the way, they for sure fear him. And they want to take us into the General Yahanna said this the other day. Our leaders that's in control of us right now is leading us to the slaughterhouse. They leading us to go get slaughtered because of their fear of the so-called white man. But you're not allowed to have no fear being in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge.
That's
right, man. So I just wanted to say that. Go ahead, Ramwan. Please.
Like it is so sad because we look at the white man as an apex predator, like they are really, you know, an apex predator on this earth.
Yeah.
But the sad part about it is they really not the apex. It's us. Like we are God's chosen people.
That's
we
it.
Don't even know. It's like a lion laying down for a gazelle.
Damn
you know
right. Damn, that's
heavy. We laying down.
That's heavy. Damn right.
And we don't even understand how great we are. And until we understand how great we are, like Malcolm said some stuff that made sense.
Go ahead.
But he wasn't in the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Martin Luther King might have said a few things that made sense, but he wasn't in the truth.
Damn right.
The man of Yahanna makes sense.
That's right.
In order to not be that lion that lay down to the gazelle,
Go ahead.
You got to come to the ISUPK.
Damn right. Damn right. Damn right. Go ahead, Raj. You can play that next tape, Warrior.
Carl Concert. So up next, we got another heavy clip that started in 1968 about an amazing film show, college students arguing, and then black students walk out. So what we're going to do, we're going to play the first minute marker to show everybody what's going on.
No sweat. Get out. Again, we appreciate everybody joining us on the Round Table of Truth. Commander General Yahanna for this Sunday morning exclusive joint. Again, Thawada to you, Commander General Yahanna, for joining us. You know what I mean? We know you're a very, very busy man.
Most respect.
Damn right. We got the New York cookout coming up next weekend. You know what I mean? Big shout out to Captain Tazar. We're gonna be out there in headquarters getting it on for the cookout. If you in the New York area, please, you know what I mean, come join the ISBK at the cookout. Of course, Commander General Yahanna, like he did for the Midwest Fire weekend, everything is free. You know what I'm saying? Again, you know what I'm saying? All this information you getting in brotherhood that you getting is free of charge. You know what I'm saying? And it goes to show why Commander General Yahanna is the leader of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You know what I mean? You go in that church, you know what I'm saying? They damn near forcing the money out of your pocket by telling you, lock the doors. I said lock the doors. Lock the doors. You understand? And them ushers locked them doors. So they forcing the money out of there, out of your pocket on Sunday, right? To teach you a lie. Right. And to give you no solutions at all to your problem. But they will give you some entertainment. They will give you some smooth words that make you feel good for the moment that you're in the church. But of course, once the service is over and you walk back out into your reality, you're walking back into a reality of hell. You understand? So I just wanted to say that. We ready, Raj?
Go,
please.
Lives.
So don't tell me, and I know some white people who will picket all night against the war in South Vietnam, don't give a hang about a black person. See? So don't tell liberation struggle. Don't jump on this bad liberation struggle. I ask you one question. I ask all the students in here, I ask the faculty members, where are the universities and the problems in the society here in dealing with blacks and whites? Where are the students at? You tell me where they are. Don't give me no South Vietnam bag. Don't give me no hang up on no Dow Chemical Company. Tell me what are you doing in your neighborhood here to stop what that old lady is doing against that one who comes in there to work 12 hours for her.
I agree with you that there's got to be some basic change in this
All
country.
right, if we're going to talk about it, then let's talk about it. Don't give me any shuck and jive because I don't want to hear it. You're going to talk about joining yourself in a black revolution to overthrow what is wrong here. Don't tell me about, when Rap told you and Stokely told you to go back to your neighborhoods, he didn't tell you to go back there and raise hell about something that wasn't even pertinent to the black man's problem.
You're right. Somebody asked me, what has the Senate done? It hasn't done a blame thing. And I say that, and I know it. It's irrelevant. What we've got to do is figure out ways as students to be relevant to that machine and to start it. You're right. There's one thing we're fighting, and it's American establishment. That's the only thing. You're fighting it in your way, and I'm fighting it in mine.
I was asked to come tonight and listen to and participate in a discussion on students and student rights, student problems and student rights. Now, if I had been geared to coming to a discussion on black-white relations, the problems of the north end of Champaign, I would have been thinking in the last 24 or 48 hours about an altogether different set of questions, an altogether different set of problems.
I don't think that it's possible to bring together a group of black people tonight and sit them amongst these people as it supposedly was supposed to be done by integrating them well into the group and discuss something else. That's totally impossible.
Black people to come in and vent a pent of frustration on people who are obviously not oppressing them. Their oppressors are quite obvious, and if they want to take a force against them, I suggest that they go and do that instead of mouthing off against people who spend quite a bit of their lives trying to help them. It is an obvious fact that those people who talk the most, when it comes right down to it, that's the actual violence. They're not the ones who do it.
You're probably right there.
Okay.
So that means Governor Wallace, who's running his mouth off, all the white people who are running around this country running their mouths off, who are saying need a South Vietnam, and there's boys like you who don't know nothing, who ain't never done nothing, and all you're going to do is call somebody a nigger, keep them down, and you're going to sit here on your behind and tell me what niggers ought to be doing, and what you know about black people ain't nothing, what you know about white people ain't nothing. So shut your mouth, nothing, because what you know about niggers.
Oh, good. General, I know you want to chime in on this one.
I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And once again, this is why I applaud the brothers in the Israelite School of UPK, because we have learned from our past. Right. These brothers mean well. That's why they walked out. And what they were saying against these Edomites back then, you hardly could not even speak to an Edomite like that. And the fact that they did speak to these Edomites like that and came up against these Edomites like that was really right. Here's where they were flawed at. And here's where what they couldn't understand.
Go ahead, John.
What they couldn't understand is the aphrodisiac that the white man has always given us. Mm-hmm. And that aphrodisiac has always been the white liberal help.
Right.
When we see white liberals talk about helping us, it's like an addiction to us, because in our minds, we believe that those white people can actually make a change for what is happening to us. And we believe if we just talk tough enough to those liberals and show them how determined we are and press upon them, that they'll wake up and become part of the movement. When what the brothers didn't understand then, but had the courage to stand up. I ain't taking nothing from them. But what they didn't understand is that their path out of there was to separate from the white man. Several of the people in that discussion were probably agents who was trying to keep the idea alive that we're going to help you, that we're going to be a part of the movement with you, when in fact they were not a part of the movement with them, and those brothers were fighting it because they were aggravated at the idea and it not actually happening. And here's why it was not actually happening. Because just like the brother began to bring out, those Edomites were taught when that movement of blacks comes about, you join that movement, but you make sure that that movement is not singular. You make sure that that movement includes the war in Vietnam.
Right.
You make sure it includes, saving the whales,
Right.
or whatever the hell else movements. And that's exactly what the agents did. They went in and said, yes, we down with you in your movement, and then brought in everybody else's movement and made it like we all got a movement against the man, or we all got a movement against the establishment. It's the establishment's way of life.
Right.
It ain't the establishment's way of life. It's these white people sitting right in front of you's way of life.
That's it.
Even if they down with you in your struggle. Once again, that's why the brothers are so right, because they don't make white people that kiss their boots join them in the movement. You understand? Like these brothers would, in their ignorance, would take on these Edomite liberals who would promise to them that they would be in the movement with it. It's the same thing went on with Martin Luther King, with the white Catholics and Protestants and all of those that joined his movement. They join that movement, but they dissipate that movement. They turn it into a struggle about a bunch of other things.
That's it.
And then your movement never gets helped. Vietnam got ended. They got funds and everything. Right now, you can go to Vietnam and see everything that they did. They built the country up. They brought the Vietnamese over here that were on their side and made them rich, gave them businesses. They did the same with the South Koreans. South Koreans got your Chinese restaurants in every neighborhood. They did the same with the Arabs. The Arabs got your restaurants in every chicken joint in every ghetto. Why did that happen? Because every time you sought out a movement, he joined these other movements with you. You got together in this collective movement, and because of it, all their movements, all of them got answers to their troubles. But you did not. Like the world is answering the Palestinians. There's marches all over the world. They being condemned all over the place. But there's absolutely no voice for what has happened to blacks and Latinos, and there's still no voice right now. Even though we in the throes of it now with Donald Trump. Ain't nobody coming to our rescue. Ain't nobody speaking out publicly. Ain't nobody made no statement about it. Why? Because our struggle has always been wrapped up in their struggle. The brother told them devil's right. You understand that you don't go back to your neighborhood and stand up for the black struggle. You go back to your neighborhood and you stand up for the Vietnam struggle, and you add the black struggle to it.
Right.
You understand? And let me tell you something else. Those Edomites go back to their neighborhood also and not mention the black struggle, because they know it will never change anything if they talk about black people's words. They know if we go out and say we want you to come join the struggle for black people, then white people will say hell no. But if you say Vietnam, or the struggle on poverty, or you say the struggle on economics, something that affects these white people, or something other than the hatred of us, these white people are joined. And
That's
brother,
it.
that we can't have that among us.
Damn right.
We can't have none of that among us. We gotta have our nation standing up and struggling for our nation.
Damn right.
And just like any nation, and just like any nation, when the white man stood up against England and demanded that he be free from England, he didn't demand that all the other colonies of England be free.
Right.
He demanded that America be free. Our people should demand that they be a human being. I'm gonna hit you with something. It ain't even other than for academic purposes. It ain't even no reason to deal with white people on, because they coming to you. You know what I mean? We do it on the street for academic purposes, but we don't stand on that street corner and speak this truth, believing that white people gonna come together now with us and help us in our struggle to be free from the white man. That's a 60s mindset. And them brothers is sincere. Understand this. Them brothers is on the cutting edge of helping black people during the 60s. But you could also see now with wisdom in the 2025 how flawed that situation was. How they just didn't know better. That wanting white people to join you is the worst thing you could ever do, because they can never make your struggle better than you could make your struggle. Salaki, I yield. And the Lord don't allow it anyway.
Yeah, Salakia, what you're bringing out is so heavy, General. I couldn't help to mention the fact, like, you so right when you say, like, they don't single out blacks and Hispanic problems, you know what I'm saying? But when it came from when that war first kicked off over there in Ukraine, and them Ukrainians started suffering all that hell, they made a emphasis to make sure to send help to them Ukrainians and bring them back over here and set up Airbnbs and set up, ways for them to get out of that turmoil that they was in. But when it come to black people, it gotta be, something else tagged along with it. Like, oh, well, the LGBT movement get the same suffering. But when it comes to their allies and people that they got love for, countries they got love for, or that they getting help from, they're gonna help them singularly. You know what I'm saying? And I just think it's a total hypocrisy when it comes to the way they deal with us and the way they deal with these other nations out here in this earth.
Hey, can we give it up? Let me tell you something. What you said, is so right on point. You would never know. Yeah, y'all in Chicago, you would never ever in a million years know that more Ukrainians were brought into Chicago than Mexicans and South Americans are. Like they brought in more Ukrainians than they did of all, and meanwhile they act like there's a billion Latinos in Mexico running rampant, and they gotta gather them all up. Meanwhile, there's more Ukrainians that came over here on planes with no kind of immigration and were accepted in America and set up in houses, like you said, in Airbnbs, and given refuge with nobody stopping them, with no questions of immigration, with no talk of deporting them, with a full-fledged State Department support for those Ukrainians. But meanwhile, our Latino brothers who helped build your country, they did more than be an ally. They built the country. They fed your nation. They gave this nation what it needed. Those people, you let them struggle on the street and run from the cops and scurry into holes trying to get away and hide their children. And now you send soldiers out to go get them. I don't see no Ukrainians getting stopped on the street, or you kicking in their door, or you showing up at their kid's school's house. I don't see none of that. That's why that immigration, so-called immigration anger, is really just racism. You just hate us. You always hated us. You will always hate us. And that's all that is. Immigration is just your excuse. Because otherwise you go to Chicago and get all them tens of thousands of Ukrainians you brought in the country. If it was about following the rule of law, getting the immigration right, coming into the country right, then you go and get all of them and gather them up and send, because they all came in here with no papers. You understand? Would show you like what you brought out is so right. Nobody's struggle will be with ours, and nobody's struggle should be. You know why? Because nobody should be allowed to claim the pains and suffering of our slavery. Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, and West Indians, you understand, suffered their own unique slavery in America, in the Caribbean, in Central and South America, in literal chains. And nobody from the other side of the world, especially those who helped facilitate it and those that profited off of it, none of them should be a part of our struggle as though they should be a part of it and receive some kind of credit for being a part of our struggle. You know when you put other nations in your struggle? When you don't have the faith of the Lord. So you really got faith in these white people are going to help you get to your goal. But when you got faith in the Lord, you don't care about none of that. Because you know that the Lord is the one that's going to bring about this change that we are all looking for. You understand? And he don't need them to do it. He needs us to be the people that we are, and that's how he'll do it.
Damn right.
I yield. So, brother, you inspired me with that statement, Ash. You inspired me, greatly with that statement. The water again. Give it up for you, brother.
Damn right. Y'all done?
Yeah, sir. If I could, and this is to piggyback on what the general was just bringing out. It's just that's what makes it so diabolical. You know what I'm saying? When people make the statement that, like, you know what I'm saying, like, my ancestors came over here and they struggled and they had, you know what I'm saying, perils, and they was able to, build their self up. You know what I'm saying? Why can't, you know what I'm saying, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community do the same thing? You know what I'm saying? That's what makes those type of, you know what I'm saying, vantage points, you know what I'm saying, so diabolical. You know what I'm saying? Because you can never, you know what I'm saying, say that, you know what I'm saying, that these other nations face any of the, you know what I'm saying, atrocities that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have, you know what I'm saying, in their history. You know what I'm saying?
And have and still are. If I could, Yaradon, have and still are. We still facing the same things back then, and ain't nobody standing up on our side. You understand? So damn that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they might come to the movement and the march, but when they go back home, they don't suffer what we suffer.
That's right.
They don't suffer all the institutions today that we suffered back then. So what you're saying is so heavy out, and every brother that is suffering it, your ears should be open to the Israelite school of UPK, because you should at least be saying to yourself, I want to hear what they saying, because maybe they do understand what's going on, and you'll find out that the Lord showed us for it to be right. So Salaki Yarada, I mean to jump on everybody's word. But what you said is so heavy out, because that's a major psychological destruction of us. Let me tell you something. The major destruction of us is the brainwashing to make us believe that somehow all of this is our fault.
Right.
And let me tell you something. Our woman believes it in many cases wholeheartedly, and you can't blame her for that. You understand? Her natural way is to follow her man.
Right.
And if you don't come through, she just naturally is going to lose hope in what it is that you're supposed to do and blame you for it. You understand? She just don't know better.
Right.
She don't understand better. You understand? She knows that as a woman, she's supposed to follow a man and be successful. She may not say it on the surface. On the surface, she might say she independent. On the surface, she might say she don't need a man. But her DNA, her makeup as a woman, says you need a man, and you to follow that man, and together the two of you are to bring forth children and raise up your entire nation. So when that man fails, you damn right. When that man fails, you basically are failing her whole existence. You are killing her entire existence when you do that, and that she can't take. So as a result, she turns on you. But brother, if you stand with the Lord and we could turn around and see this nation go into a different direction, brother, you gonna see your woman gonna join to you then. Like the Lord said, 7 women gonna cleave on to one man, because she gonna know that this man now has finally got on the right track. She ain't gonna know whether it was because the white man bowed down. She ain't gonna know whether the black man stood up. She ain't gonna know really what it is in many cases, but she is gonna know that that man is now going in the right direction. It's time for me to get on board with it. You know what I'm saying? And so what you were bringing out, Yaradon, was so heavy. That is that needs to be a whole study on what you brought out, Yaradon. A whole study on why we blame us for what has happened to us. Why that's our default blame. And the church and the mosque got everything to do with it.
Damn right, John.
So y'all better get me off here now. I'm jumping on y'all words and everything.
Nah, you right on point. You right on point. Hey, if you could, Ross, can you skip to 14:30? Let's show everybody what was the end result of this meeting that they had.
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson?
You want to explain why you're doing what you're doing?
You can tell from this where the university and the whole bloody society are going to go. The young know it. Many of the old do not know it, and that's one thing that accounts for the
You can
gap
stop it
between
right
us.
there. So just to show everybody the end result of this meeting that they had with the black student and white students that actually happened at the University of Illinois, the black students end up getting up, walking out. You know what I'm saying? So big up to them for that. You know what I'm saying? And that's so heavy to see because, of course, you know what I'm saying, like the Lord has always said, we wasn't bred to come together with another race of people, especially people that's oppressing us. You understand? That ain't ever the solution. You can't even like we just saying right here, you can't even sit down and talk about your problems with these people because they the ones that their people are the ones that's causing the oppression. So you never gonna come to a solution even trying to sit down with them. And of course, the Christianity, you know what I'm saying? It makes because they teach God so love the world and they teaching you God love everybody, you feel as though that you could sit down with the people who hate you and come to a solution. But as them brothers just showed you in that video, that is not possible. It's not possible for us to sit down and come up with a solution for us with our enemies. Jordan.
So like it, sir.
Please.
I don't know if you seen like at the end of the video, they kind of focused in on a brother that was just sitting down, staying there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That just goes to show and every, you know what I'm saying, sense of defiance, you know what I'm saying, that you would have, you know what I'm saying, brothers rising up against, you know what I'm saying, the coming together.
Yeah.
You're gonna have certain brothers that just cannot just let it go. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
They ain't gonna stand in solidarity with their brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Then right after, now mind you, they walked out after they heard the white boy say, "I don't give a damn about your struggle." But yet this cat here, he still chose to sit in there after this white man just said he don't give a damn about your struggle, which goes to show that, man, listen, if you Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian, we the first part of any, you know what I'm saying, revolution or part of any part of us getting free from white supremacy is we must understand that the enemies amongst our people is the first line of defense that we must crush. You know what I'm saying? They just some of us that just do not get, you know what I'm saying, that we have to separate from these people.
That's right.
I'm a partisan.
So I ain't really got to stay. I just wanted to ask because you know what I'm saying. You know when I saw it as well. When y'all done bringing out, I thought that was a professor or something. Was that a professor? You know what I'm saying?
Still sitting there?
Yeah. Or was that?
I'm not sure what he. I'm not sure what he is. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But he chose to sit there. You know what I'm saying? While the rest of the students got up and left, and like Yahanna bringing out, he should have stood in solidarity with those brothers and walked on out. You know what I mean? But we gonna go ahead, Ramon.
So like, if I may,
Please.
I just want to I look at like videos like this and like even what y'all been talking about and how naive we are as a people, as Black, Hispanics, Native American Indians. I'm talking about not just in the IHBK, but outside of the school. Ukraine got into a war, and Ukraine set up a store on every block. Because I'm a truck driver, right? So I watch trucks ride down the highway that say "Fight for Ukraine" all day. That's all I want. That's all I see. Fight for Ukraine.
Right.
We love Ukraine. And all of these things, and it's Black people that's driving these trucks. It's Black brothers and sisters driving these trucks. And we've been fighting for our so-called freedom for over 400, 500 years right now. And we still rather fight for somebody else than even fight for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We would like in 2025, we watching videos of 1970s.
Right.
We watching 1970s videos about saying why we ain't free. And we in 2025, we still have to have the same, which is great. We had to have the same zeal to fight for our own freedom, and not even knowing as a Black or Hispanic man, you would, like until we all come together, you'll never get that freedom. You're not gonna get it until we come together. And Ukraine ain't gonna get freedom. You know why? Because they gonna come here, they gonna do for themselves. They gonna put a store wherever they need to put a store. Israelis, so-called Israelis, they gonna go put a store everywhere. They gonna put these say halal and we got halal meat and all. They gonna do all the stuff that America allows them to do because they gonna allow them to be free, so-called free. They would never allow you as a nigga to be free in America. You'll never be free because they know that their end is our beginning when it comes to having the hell. They know that our hell will be over once we be. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll never give us that opportunity. Right. And that's why it's so important. That we come together. You know what I'm saying?
Damn right. Give it up. You know what I'm saying? If you could, Raj Karab, we can go to the next tape. This next tape, General, was heavy. It kind of extends your point of how you was bringing out how the woman is supposed to naturally follow us. But we're gonna show you how the white man strategically made that almost impossible to happen. Go ahead and play that tape, Raj Karab.
Call.
I'm gonna save my dough. Get away from here. I ain't gonna come back no more.
Welfare mothers, and the children too, feel that they are on a dead-end street. That the way things are, there's not enough money and no way to hold up your head. And so they've begun what amounts to a welfare revolt.
You look on TV and you see that poor little kid from another nation. Oh, he looks so pitiful. I feel so sorry for him. But I can't overlook the fact that we have poor little kids in this nation.
Mrs. Etta Horn is a leader of the welfare rights movement. Their principle and their overwhelming complaint is that there simply is not enough money to raise a family, and then that it's given in a self-defeating and self-perpetuating way, that it degrades the people who receive it.
I have children. I look at my kids as friends, and I think, am I going to really prove to them where it starts at? They're always screaming about delinquents. American Welfare Department makes delinquents.
There is an evil system around.
Martin Luther King believes that welfare is part of that system, damaging to black and white alike.
Will not get right until this evil system is removed, because as I have listened and as I've looked and as I've lived in the ghetto, I've seen what this evil system has done to my brothers and my sisters. I've seen how it has left little children with clouds of inferiority formed in their little mental sky. I've seen how this evil system has transformed nice, decent young women into prostitutes. I've seen how this system has transformed nice, decent young men into dope addicts trying to escape the ugliness of their daily life.
Like they did this.
Stop it. Go ahead, Jordan.
They did this. We were not this kind of people. They did this. They wiped out our family structure. They destroyed us from coming together.
Right. Damn right.
It did. And this part of his speech never gets read. This part of his speech, they never play this speech.
Right.
This part. When he saw what happened to us, he saw how we, by getting on the welfare system and being cut off from these jobs and being told you can't have a man in the house, they destroyed the whole family structure. And then, of course, we became delinquents, which, of course, we became criminals.
That was it.
And these sisters who, of course, didn't have, like, that was just enough money to destroy you. That's what it was. Like, I cut you off from opening businesses and helping yourself, but I give you a little bit of money to make you think you're going to be all right. But that's just enough money for you to fail at the end of the month. And before you know it, your mother's a prostitute. Your sons and daughters is in the streets, and the father is gone out of just frustration and just because that's the only way she can get the welfare money. Like they did this to us.
Damn right.
Do this to us.
Right.
We didn't do this to us, and we got to stop blaming ourselves like we did this to us.
Damn right. Come
That's
on.
what they think. That's why. Damn right. That's why I said what Yaradon said is so heavy, because it's like it's a constant from Esau. It's a constant. Why you don't pull yourself up by your bootstraps? Why you don't help yourselves? Because you won't let us help ourselves. It has never been your intention to help for us to help ourselves. The average white man that goes to work every day, that works a job, he wants to see us do the same thing. I work every day. I pay bills. You understand? I go through struggles. I fight with my wife. Why can't a black man do the same thing? That's what's in his mind.
Right.
And he's right in his mind. But what he doesn't understand is that there are 3-letter alphabet agencies that really run this country. And them alphabet agencies do all kinds of clandestine things to destroy us as a people. And that welfare system coming in destroyed us. Now, remember we had thousands of farmers in the South.
Right.
At the time. Why didn't we open up networks to feed ourselves and transport our own food? Because you was killing us on the road, taking our trucks. You was doing all kinds of stuff. And so what did we get taught? You had your preachers, them whores. You had them come in and tell us, put your hope in Jesus, the white Jesus. Put your hope in the white Jesus. And as a result, we sat in the slave pits of the ghettos of America and slowly died. Left our women and went out on the streets and got on drugs and died. And drugs that they poured into our neighborhood. In the 60s, a black person couldn't even get to the next neighborhood without worrying about the white man, let alone bringing dope into the United States, into the middle of the ghetto. That was ridiculous. All of a sudden, in the 60s, black men became international tradesmen in drugs. Give me a damn break. Give me a break. You couldn't even buy a decent pair of shoes, but all of a sudden, you're an international mogul. You understand? Transporting drugs all over the world. And they made movies about it. You know, Fred Lucas, what's his name? Lucas.
Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas.
They come out with it already that certain 3-letter alphabet agencies had recruited them cats. And them cats didn't even know they was working for these 3-letter alphabet agents, which is one of their experts. And that's why what Yaradon said was so important to what we doing. And that's why what you doing, Cap, is so damn important, because because unless you stand up with the men that are with you, our people will not know. You can't expect people who have never been educated, have never lived beyond, their next paycheck and their next meal, damn near. You can't expect them to wake up one day and be fully educated and know at what direction we're supposed to go in. Everybody doesn't live like that. Everybody has not had that experience. But by goodness, because of the prophets of the Lord, because of the mercy of the Most High, he could take a man like you and all these captains across these countries, wake that man up and turn that man, give him all the education. That's what's beautiful about the Bible. The Bible has all the education. You're going to learn about every aspect of what your world that you're in. And as a result, you're going to be able to step out there and help you and yours. Like those statements are the statements of the truth that they never show that he played. He watched. I know he felt like the idiot of idiots. He watched after he marched on Washington. He watched as they gave us the civil rights, then turned our women onto welfare and destroyed our families, brought in drugs, all those so-called helpful agencies. Oh, we see your struggle, black man. We're going to give you civil rights. We're going to pass the bill for civil rights. And they did. And black people felt accomplished and cheered in the streets the same way we cheered when they got Obama in office. We cheered in the streets. Civil rights has been passed. But you didn't know that in them civil rights, one, that they was temporary, as Donald Trump is trying to show us today, and two, that they were going to turn around and use those agencies that were supposedly to help us to completely brainwash us into believing all this is happening because of your own fault. There's opportunity everywhere. We opened up every possible door. We poured millions into you. It's time for you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. When meanwhile, just like Martin Luther King said, there's an evil, You know, I never quote this cat, but I'm gonna quote him now. There's an evil system working constantly against us. He finally saw it. Almost, he nearly wiped us out to find out, but he finally saw it. And that's why they hurried up after his march and got rid of him.
Yeah.
They saw where he was going with. And they knew also that if Martin turned his back and went the other way, that they would have hell on wheels because our people were following Martin. Riots broke out after they killed him.
Yeah.
You understand? We were, I mean, yeah, I didn't mean to say Malcolm, but Martin. That millions of people were following Martin. And when they killed him, we started rioting. Now, if they had not been able to kill him and he had went the other way, my goodness, we would have been a nation like they could have never imagined before.
Damn
We
right.
would have been a people that was just absolutely incredible, man.
Damn right.
And so that's it. I yield the water.
Damn right. Give it up, John. What you saying was so heavy because, of course, you know, he came out and said this after the 1963 March on Washington. You look, you know what I'm saying? You look up the records of welfare, you know what I mean? They always had it, of course, here in America, but it really got instituted with us as black people, according to this record here I'm looking at in 1964. That's when it really expanded, which was after, you know what I'm saying, the March on Washington, which goes to show that the March on Washington was a failure. You understand? Because before that, you know what I'm saying, black people had businesses, you know what I'm saying, you say this all the time, and our leaders convinced us to give up, even if we was in poverty or not, we had our own businesses, you know what I'm saying, where we could feed ourselves. But anytime you have to rely on another people for food and for clothes and for shelter, you putting yourself in a real jammed up position, because the minute they ready to pull it from you, now you're going to starve to death. Right. You know what I'm saying? Which is the position that they want us to be in, is to not be self-sufficient. The whole civil rights thing was a thing that got started by white people, man. Right. And they went and found leaders to be the front runners for the civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? That's where Martin Luther King and the Big Six came in. They came, like you said, General, and hijacked the civil rights movement. You understand? And because of it, we became, you know what I'm saying, self-sufficient on them. And of course, they came up with something to put the black man out of the home later on in the 60s, which just totally decimated us as a people. Once again, we have to speak about this and show our people, man, that we did not do this to ourselves. Nope, the condition we in right now, no man do that to themselves. You see what I'm saying? It's somebody over the top of us, you know what I'm saying, that instituted these things. And we got a tape later we're gonna play too, General, the Kerner report that me and you and I talked about, where the white man even say on the tape that black people, you didn't put yourself in this position. White supremacy put you in this position. Now, if you ain't gonna listen to us, will you listen to your slave master, the white man, tell you? Or will you just say, to hell with what we saying and to hell with what the white man saying too, and just totally reject anybody that's trying to bring to you the goddamn truth? You know what I mean? So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, if I could,
please.
So just to back up what everybody is saying, I just pulled up some information, you know, about how were whites punished for crimes they committed against black people before the civil rights movement.
Right.
And I looked up, you know, was it any different after the civil rights movement? So right here, I looked up the punishment for white people committing crimes against black people in the 1940s and 50s was rare and inadequate, particularly in the South. White perpetrators were consistently shielded from justice by white-dominated legal systems. Now, this was in the 40s and 50s. So also now this is another article. It says white individuals were sometimes punished for crimes against black people in the 70s and 80s. So it moved up to a little bit more, but it also says, but they will often receive lighter sentences due to systematic racism within the criminal justice system. Now, so I ain't trying to be too long-winded, but then I looked up the 2000, you know, because that's more, you know, this time frame. So it said now in the 2000, it says, yes, individuals are punished for crimes regardless of their race, but data from the 2000s indicates that racial disparities in punishment exist, with black individuals often receiving longer sentences than comparable white individuals for the same offenses, and white individuals sometimes having a higher likelihood of arrest for certain crimes like robbery and assault. So I just wanted to bring that out just to show, before the civil rights movement, right after the civil rights movement, and in today's time, ain't nothing changed. You know what I'm saying? And we've been getting treated the same way and having these same blockages that we've been having.
Damn right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just to back up what everybody been saying, this whole time. So
damn right, damn right. Give it up. Hey Rob, can you finish playing the rest of that tape? Take it all the way to 3 minutes if you could.
Hey, if I could, Cap, you mind if I say something on this real quick before you go into it?
Please get down, gentlemen.
This part you get ready to play right here is so important for blacks and Latinos to hear this, because this is the part of the tape that lets you know who the hell was in this struggle with us in the beginning. Don't you ever open your mouth that blacks and Latinos don't come together and that we are not as one, because you're about to see it right now. So, go ahead.
Heavy points, so.
Maria Ortiz and her children, Hilda, Juanita, Antonio, Pedro, in their New York apartment. Mrs. Ortiz gets her welfare check under the Aid for Dependent Children program. It comes to about $117 every 2 weeks, about $3,000 a year. Not enough to pay the rent, feed and clothe the kids, and provide the diet that a doctor has told Mrs. Ortiz she needs. Another child is on the way, but the father of her children has deserted her. The fact that governs everything else
He
in
didn't
Mrs. Ortiz's
desert her, they
life
ran
is
him out
money,
of there.
or the lack.
Go ahead, gentlemen.
He didn't desert her. They ran him out of there. You see how the devil slipped in there to blame the brother? You understand? Like the whole documentary is supposed to be how this welfare destroys families, but yet he still abandoned her.
Right.
She could not get that little bit of money of welfare if he was anywhere near that house.
Damn right. That's it. Kind of Wakanda.
And listen, and if I could,
please.
Then they sent the welfare agents to your house.
That's it.
The welfare agent came in your house, searched your closets, searched under the bed. If she saw a bunch of men's shirts in the closet, you was in a jam.
Right.
They said to her, you got a man in here. You understand? You must be using the welfare money to feed him. And if you say, no, I don't give him anything, then they turn around and say, well, he must be giving you some money.
Right.
And cut you off the welfare and starve your babies. And what woman that really cares about her children is going to gamble starving her babies?
Mm-hmm.
And they knew this when they set it up. Yeah. They knew when they set it up. They know the nature of a woman. They know the nature of a woman is to survive and to protect her children.
That's it.
That's her number one priority. You understand? And they already know this. So they make a rule that you can't have a man in. And guess what? For her survival, she's going to get rid of that brother. Yet you say the man abandoned her.
Right.
You understand? When that's a damn lie. Them brothers went out there in them streets, did whatever they can to get the little bit that they could and gave it to her under the table.
Mm-hmm.
And got away from that. And it still goes on today.
That's right.
It goes on today, and God knows what systems they have set up to turn us against each other.
Damn right.
So, Lock, I yield on that, please. Please continue.
I just wanted to say, General, after decades of being fed that, or whatever the case may be. You wake up in 2025 and wonder why our women say they don't need no man. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Well,
right.
the seed was planted, you know what I'm saying, in the 60s with the welfare program, you know what I'm saying, which once again, once this matures decade after decade, then you have what you have now, where a woman makes a statement that, of course, you know what I'm saying, she's been fed this by white supremacy. Once again, the way that we think as a people, this men and women, you know what I'm saying, the way that we think as a people, which is destructive to ourselves, our thought process was given to us by white supremacy. And the only way to reverse that mental illness is by coming into the truth under Commander Yahanna and the IHBK. You know what I'm saying? That is the only way to cure the mental illness that we have towards one another. You know what I'm saying? Was there any more on this tape, General?
Wait, we're gonna play. We should play some. Cap, we should play some more. But if you don't mind, please let me add to what you just said.
Man, get out.
What you just said was so. That's why you know these are prophets of God, because what you just said is so heavy in this respect.
Please.
Do you know right after the welfare system got in place, and this happened for whites, blacks, and Latino, because you had plenty of white people that had to take welfare too. Do you know once the welfare system got in place and they got all these men out of the houses, do you know the crime started, the things with the kids started, and do you know what the alphabet letter groups started after that? Right after that, they started the feminine movement. They brought the feminine movement in because now this woman who couldn't keep a man in the house, who's struggling off of the government to make $1, who's now these babies' daddy, they turned around now and began to teach her that being a domestic mom is not the greatest job in the world. Being a mom and children is really a hardship. They start writing books about how women are angry. Women are angry across the country. Why? Because their lives are cut off into being just domestic housewives. Being barefoot and pregnant is no good. And they turned it into a whole feminist movement to get our women to get out there and struggle on jobs, which further left our kids out there, with nothing. And as a result, destroyed everything we have. And that's why you got brothers on the street corners today selling drugs and gang banging. They created this and they added the creations of certain music to do it. They added the creations of certain movies to do it. They created this to destroy us to this point because they knew somewhere down the line we're going to get rid of them. So this is all manufactured. What you're saying is so true and so right, Cat. This was all manufactured. So, Lockie, I yield.
Damn right. Give it up. Give it up for the general. Y'all can go ahead and play a little bit more of that tape, please.
Her inability to give her children the things they need. But Mrs. Ortiz is comparatively fortunate. She lives in New York, which has one of the highest welfare standards in the country. Some places, Mississippi and some other southern states in particular, keep welfare recipients at the edge of starvation. 30 cents a day for each child in some areas, 50 cents a day in others. In those last days before the welfare check arrives, the children subsist on what their mother bought 2 weeks previously.
Hey, Cap, can I cut it?
Please, General.
Okay, listen, they surviving on cereal and stuff like that. That's probably about it on that tape. But can I add something else? This is why we got to be so awake of what's happening. Now, remember now, we went all into the welfare in the late 60s, early 70s, destroyed them households, put women into the women's movement, right? And then guess what we discovered in the early 70s? What did black people bring into the black community through the churches in the early 70s to help further the facilitation? I'll tell you. That was the invention of the abortion clinic.
Damn.
In the 70s, they came out with abortion clinic. So now they destroyed the family,
Right.
got rid of the man,
Right.
gave her a job on the street.
Right.
Most of the time, secretaries helping the white man. Your woman now the white man became her man now. She
Right.
brought him the coffee and he got breakfast in the morning from your woman while you was out the house. And now she's serving him for her little bit of paycheck. And then on top of it, they said, well, wait a minute. She's still going home and seeing her man and still having babies. And she more encouraged now to have babies because she got more money.
Right.
So they started the movement on killing our babies in the abortion clinics.
Dang.
You don't have to have a baby. It's going to destroy your career. That was famously said in the early 70s and 80s. And then to facilitate it real good, they let Jesse Jackson, one of Martin Luther King's right-hand man, which has been reported to possibly have been a informant for one of the 3-letter agencies. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard it. And then he turned around and ran for president. And when he ran for president, he was asked about the abortion, and then all of a sudden it wasn't genocide. In the beginning, he was calling it genocide.
Right.
When they first came out with it, he was calling it genocide because he knew this was the last stages of the black family.
Right.
Now, if they got her to kill the baby, then that was the end of the black family. She was in the workforce. The black man was in the street. The kids was in the street. And now she ain't even having no more babies.
Right.
So they was wiping out the black family quietly. And he said, this is genocide. They let him run for president. All of a sudden, he said, a woman got to have choice. And that's where the slogan, a woman has to have a choice, came from. They put that on black people.
Damn right.
And destroyed our. We were better off in that poverty, struggling against this man with our families, than we are right now today with these big jobs and not having no kids and destroyed families and our sons in the street trying to sell drugs. Well, at least if we'd have struggled back then, we would have eventually rose up as a people, which is what they was afraid of in the first place, which is what made them start on the movement in the first place, to bring us down and destroy us. Ever since we asked for those civil rights, they've been setting things in every decade up to come and destroy us. What happened after that? After that abortion movement, they went through the abortion, killed us, so much of us. And then they said, well, they still having babies, they still multiplying, they still doing this and doing that. That's when they brought in crack cocaine. Flooded us in the 80s with crack cocaine, wiped our people out again, destroyed the family, destroyed the brothers and the sisters, made them drug dealers. And guess what happened when they started to bring in the cocaine, the crack cocaine? Guess what happened?
Come on, General. Come on, General.
Well, let me tell you, our wonderful liberal saxophone playing, sunglass wearing, Mr. Cool Guy President Bill Clinton stepped on in with mass incarceration. Then we was already destroyed it in the street.
Right.
Then he added mass incarceration to further destroy us even more. And then guess what? After the 90s, it all became chemical. After all the CIA experiments with LSD and everything else, then they started killing us chemically. Now women all of a sudden are getting fibroids and can't have but a couple of babies. Ain't even in the mindset to have but 1 or 2, if that. You understand? Tons of women out here having 8, 9, 10 abortions, 4 or 5 abortions before they even consider their first child. By the time they consider their first child, most sisters done had 3 or 4 abortions.
Right.
The majority, you know what I mean? Because it's so convenient. Do you know in the 60s, the average age that a black woman and black man got married was 19 years old? Now you damn near treated like you are having sex underage. When at 19, we were getting married. By the time you were 22, 23, you were fully married with a child back then in the 60s. That's how come we was able to have so many children. now everything, by the time a woman gets ready to have marriage, she's late in the game. If it don't happen by mistake earlier, because why? There ain't no family planning. How come? Because there ain't no family structure for you to model yourself after. You starting on your own, which is why the Bible is so important, and it covers everything. They're going to try to get rid of this Bible eventually, because this Bible is our refuge, y'all. Back to the Most High. That's our bridge. That's our Hansel and Gretel. You understand?
Damn right.
That Bible is our Hansel and Gretel back to the Most High to put everything back in place. I yield, but I had to bring that part out, Cap. But wonderful, let me get in there with it, because it fits right into the puzzle of what they've been doing.
Man, listen, General, what you bringing out so heavy, you know what I mean? You know, hand for dropping that. Like the timeline that you just went through decade for decade, it's amazing that we still here.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It is like totally amazing. This is how you know that the Most High is real. If I could, I'm gonna have a brother read the scripture real fast and just kind of further expound on what you was bringing out. Go ahead, Warrior.
Please.
It's the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, and verse 22.
Please.
It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed.
Read that again.
It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed.
Like if not had the Most High stepped in with the ISUBK in 1969, black and brown people, man, we wouldn't have had no hope. If it wasn't for a brother like Commander Jenny Yahanna coming into the truth in the 80s, holding down what the seven heads taught him, brothers and sisters, we wouldn't have had no hope. These are the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed. Why is that so important? Because these people are trying to wipe us out. And by us being God's chosen people, God ain't gonna let us wipe them out, which is why our fear is supposed to be only of the Lord and not of them. They can't consume us if we do what the Lord say. You got to stop being hard-headed and serving these other gods and turn to the God that you choose to ignore every day, which is the nigga God, man. And we say that proudly because that is the only God that's gonna help black and brown people. None of these other religions that we praying to every day is gonna help us. That's why we getting beat down in the street. That's why we going to prison. That's why we #1 in AIDS, cancer, and diabetes, because you want to keep ignoring the one God that got some care for you, man. And we can no longer continue to do that because we got an enemy that is trying to wipe us out. But it is of the Lord's mercies that ain't our own strength. It's because the Most High is with us. And the Lord is with us, namely, by establishing this school. The ISUBK under Commander Jenny Yahanna is the antidote to fix us, man. And that's just something that we're going to have to face. You understand? So I just wanted to say that, John.
Hey, that's super kind of you, and it's only because of Yahushua that we able to get this school established.
Damn
because
right.
if not for Yahushua, we would have never made our way back. If he didn't open that door and seal that contract with the Most High, we would have never been able to make it back. He went out there, man, and died struggling to fix black people and Latino people. Being innocent, he died. You understand? Being innocent, he took that bullet for us. And brother, we should learn a lesson to be like him and not die. To be like him and build our people up and watch the Most High return us. He dragging the white man into Venezuela right now.
Damn
He
right.
getting ready to go down into the jungles of hell to go down there and fight them Latino brothers, our brothers, you understand, down in them zones. And brother, it's going to be bad. And that ain't the only place war gonna break out. The Israelis are begging Trump to join them and let them attack Iran. The Israelis may attack Iran on their own. And that's going to happen. Then they begging the United States to help them with Ukraine. Now that's going south. You know what I mean? Because Putin is bombing the hell out of that. And on top of all of that, Donald Trump hate us so damn much that he want to get us out the country when what he really need is to repent for this evil before the Most High bring judgment on this place, man. That judgment going to be horrific.
Damn
you know what I mean?
It's so heavy.
Water.
It's so heavy what you bringing out, General. Just as we was live on the show, I just showed Ashaya and Iwalum. The United States just sent 2 battleships. Was it 2 battleships or 2? What was I say? Warships. They just sent 2 warships to the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? While we was live on the show just now, you know what I'm saying? They take two warships to the Caribbean.
Sent them destroyers down in there, boy.
Countable guns.
That's a lot of firepower.
Yes, sir. If we could, Akim, could you go to the next story? Next video, I mean.
Agree with the moderator, nor Reverend Robinson, that we want some kind of agreement. We want agreement by which we can live or die. You choose. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillar. Should you try to pretend that I'm crazy because I want America to be saved? And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
That's a cold brother.
Let it play, please.
This revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word. All right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all that the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a worm, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you. And if that's what you're afraid of us, then tell us just what you're afraid of. But don't keep hiding it from us and holding this up to us, and every time we ask you for something, you give us a little bit of something, and it's all tokenism. We don't want tokenism. And there are most black men in this world that don't want charity. And yet still every time we ask you for something, you give us a little piece, a little piece. You're playing games with us. We're not children. We're big men. I've seen my father have to put up with all kinds of stuff. He was a big man. He raised a family. He went down south, and he had to go around to the back door with his wife. We're not asking for anything. We're not asking for any favors. All we want is what's ours. Now, there are many black veterans.
Cap, if I
Go
could,
ahead.
they
Get
weren't
out, Jim.
asking to integrate. They wanted what's their own. They just didn't want to be starved to death, cut off. Like they wanted to go out and work and build and strengthen themselves like anybody else. But the slave master never wanted that to happen. So he turned around and came up with a welfare system to break the hope of black people. But this brother is bringing out what was really in their hearts, which was, look, we just want ours. We want to go out and labor and build business just like they do.
Yeah,
we do what they do. Like they didn't beg. They're not begging nobody for themselves to eat. They opening up businesses. They working. They doing their bid. That's what the brother was talking about. And Esau knows if you ever have that, he knows that's a problem. He knows he got to end that, and he knows that gives you strength as a man. And the fact that he had to bring up what happened with his father and show you how he knew how men and women were supposed to be, how a man ain't supposed to be humiliated in front of his woman like that. But that Esau will do it without a problem at all. These things we talk about are so right, but they're so taboo to say openly, even though they're not supposed to be a crime. It's supposed to be free speech. But it's a crime unsaid in America because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. Salakia.
Damn right. Damn right.
Yeah.
Salakia. Go ahead, Rob. Keep playing.
Back and they're mad. They're angry. Do you think that they're going to sit down through this? Our fathers didn't have the knowledge that we had. They sat through it. But there are other black youth that are not going to sit through it. We know about Che. We know about Fannin. We've read the books of our revolution. We've listened to Mao and his quotations. We know where we stand. We're not going to sit for it. We're asking, and if we ask and we don't get, we're prepared to stand up and take it. If I ask a man, I tell a man I am hungry. I tell him I am cold. And I ask him to do something about my condition. And this man holds a loaf of bread right in front of me so I can see it. And I keep asking him, I'm begging him to please give me a slice of the loaf of bread. I am hungry. Then it is known by every psychologist that the next step in the progression is I am going to knock him upside the head and take the bread from him. I'm not going to starve to death. All we're asking, no one wants to see blood. No one likes the smell of blood. No one wants war. Anyone who's been in war doesn't want war. Everyone knows what it is to see the inside of a man's gut hanging out and see your friends die, see relatives die. No one wants to regress back to the state of mind where you have to think it's all for the cause, therefore my mother has to die, my wife has to die, my brothers and sisters have to die. No one wants that. But you're pushing us to it. You're leaving us no choice. We're asking, we're begging. The students up at Columbia, they ask. The brothers down south ask. The brothers in Latin America, the brothers in Africa, they're all asking. All they're doing is asking. Our fathers asked. Our grandfathers asked. The presidents of our universities, our colleges had to go to your back doors to beg that their children be given just enough money so that they could be taught something to live off. And yet still they asked and asked and asked, and you refused to give them anything. Now, we're just about out of patience. We're not going to ask anymore. The news media says that it's only the young that are militant.
John, you want to say something on that?
No, I was going to let you play it out, Doc, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, play it out.
And only the young that want this and want that. Okay, but we're 40% of the black population now. Or we were a year ago, and still yet we're climbing. Before long, we'll be 50%, 55%, and then we'll have the command. We're not going to take it. We're not going to take sitting in rotten parks and in places that just aren't fit for living. We're not going to take it. There's a limit to a man's patience, and everyone knows that God, Christ, heaven, everyone knows that what we're asking is not $1 million. What we're asking for is humanity. We're asking to be allowed to live like human beings. And God, you tell us that this is too much to ask. You're sick. You're definitely sick. How can you tell me that it's too much to ask to be a human being?
Why am I mad? You know, white people ask me, why am I so angry? And, you know, I don't have any answer for him because it'd be ridiculous for me to answer him because he couldn't understand anyway, obviously, because he asked me the question.
The 400 years that I've
Pause
existed
that now. Can I jump in now?
Get out, General.
If I could again, you see how that brother said he wouldn't even explain it to him because him asking me the question already tells me he won't even understand the answer. Like the Israelite school of UPK, we don't beg the white man for nothing.
Damn right.
We don't beg him for nothing. He ain't financed by for nothing. We went to our people, and our people will help us if we're right with the Lord. We right with the Lord will wake up brothers and sisters to do what it is that we need to do. And that's why, if I could plug the tithes out, that's why the tithes is so important. That's why I'm such a stickler about pressing upon the tithes. Everybody should be paying tithes simply because we ain't falling back on the white man. We don't want to be in no position where we got to beg a white man for something that he don't want to give us. And the minute you do that, you ain't in no movement no more. Like the other brother was strong on that revolutionary. spirit where he was saying, if you ask a man for a loaf of bread. But let me add to him and say, we just want to make our own loaf of bread without you stealing it. That's all.
Right.
We'll make our own loaf of bread. And don't you steal our land. Remember, we worked in this country since slavery too. We dug the potatoes and the corn and the cotton out of the ground. We did that. You understand? For free labor. So part of this country belongs to us. You understand? And don't try to steal it, which is what you always do. Find something to hate somebody with and then steal what the hell they have because they're not subject to you. You're a narcissist as a people. You're a narcissist and a nutcase as a people. That's why the brother said you're like crazy because you so care nothing about nobody else but yourselves. But you're going to get judgment from the Lord because of it. And that's why the Israelite school, now y'all understand why the Israelite school in 69 said, we're not going to go beg this man for anything. We're just going to fight for him to stop attacking us, just like Moses did. Moses didn't go to the white man and tell him to give us anything, but to go serve the Lord the way we were supposed to do. The white man turned around and said, I don't know what to stop you from begging to be free. I'll steal more from you. You'll make brick without straw now. I'll make it harder for you. That's all these brothers needed. All they needed was to not be oppressed no more, was to not be cut off anymore. You understand? That's all they would have needed. And they could have went on to build great families and all that. But these Edomites went and for a decade introduced some new movement to destroy us. Decade after decade after decade after decade. So here we are in 2025. They ain't trying to invent no more. Now they just want a final solution for us. What Black people and Latino people don't understand is that it was never an integration movement with you. That was never the plan. It was never the plan for you to work side by side. You were the one fool. You was the one looking at us in boots and braids and acting like, what's all this militancy? Acting like we was the threat. Acting like we was the radical one. Acting like we was the one that was out of touch with society.
Right.
Like we was the one that needed to, learn more how to work together with the white man. That's how you acted. When we knew what those scriptures said was right, that the Lord was not, that we was not to integrate with these nations. And the Lord clearly, plainly said why. Because they will make your sons turn from following me. And he said, you would become the tail, and he would become the head. Right. And he said that nation that you get among, that you integrate with, he said that nation gonna do great while you do terrible and end up on the bottom. He will come up very high and you will come down very low. Why? Because while you're integrating with him, he's raising his nation up while cutting you off and holding you back and putting you in the position that them brothers was in the 60s to turn around and say, we to beg the white man for some help. When you should fix your nation and beg the Lord for the help. I yield to Watercap. Just wanted to add that to it.
General, listen, you flowing right into the next take perfectly. We about to watch this tape, General, of these leaders that thought it was best, you know what I'm saying, to join the so-called white man. Kind of if you could, bro.
Amazing.
Yep.
Oh, you going to get the big six now?
Yes, sir. Time for the big six.
Oh boy, the big six, the biggest Uncle Toms in the 1960s.
Civil rights legislation in this session of Congress. And of course, we also intend...
Now, Cap, if I could,
go ahead,
real quick. Everybody should remember how Martin Luther King was talking later on in the tape we played earlier. That tape you played earlier was closer to the end of his life.
Yeah.
This is him when he was in the full Uncle Tom stage. But after that, he had decided to go the other way because he knew they was lying. And that part, remember that part, as you watch him be smooth as butter serving the master right now? Salaki.
Kind of what kind, General?
Anybody? We want to show how we feel.
Exactly. We are not going to Washington to intimidate any congressman or any senator. It will give a large number of people an opportunity to articulate their longings and aspirations for freedom, their desire to see meaningful, forthright civil rights legislation in this session of Congress. And of course, we also intend to arouse the conscience of the nation over the economic plight of the Negro 100 years after emancipation. And I think it can have a great impact. I think it will dramatize the issue. It will have educational value in that it will allow many people to see and understand the continued indignities and injustices which Negroes confront all over the nation, all over the country.
Can I cut in on this, please?
Please.
The lockyard. Woo, woo, woo. Boy, oh boy. Like black men like him are poisonous like cancer.
Kind of what
Like they are poisonous on a whole nother level. Like they got all into this movement with their head all up high and they and acting like this was so great for black people's movement. They get a chance to go down there, not intimidate anybody, but they go down there and get to express themselves and talk about their plight. And basically, we're going to beg the white man on a grandiose scale.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these are educated black men.
Yep.
Why didn't they sit down and say, we're going to open up these businesses to make sure all black people eat? Why didn't they have a plan for black people to help themselves? Right. We're going to do A, B, and C. We're going to ship goods from here. Or we're going to sell goods from over there. We're sending people over there to find out how we sell goods to them or how we buy goods for them at a cheaper price to sell to our poor people. Oh, we setting up construction companies. We putting 5 construction companies in every city around the country, and we asking workers to volunteer because we're going to start building housing so that we can get out of the white man's housing and get into black housing and have the rates cheaper and not be treated so horrible. Like, why didn't they do any of that? Right. Why wasn't none of that important? Instead, what was important was to gather everybody up, run them down to Washington, show the white man that the people are listening to them so he can pass a law that they could have fixed among themselves. That never really got passed. The civil rights law didn't get passed because cops still killing us in the streets.
Right.
So ain't no civil rights. They never became civil with us. But you could have used that time and energy to become civil with ourselves and to recognize them as the enemy that they were. To recognize to them, to both us and them, that they had to realize that for what you did to us in slavery, we're going to continue in America like we've been, but we're not going to continue in America in integrating with you. Right. Instead, we're going to get together and help ourselves, blase blimman. There should have never been a march on Washington. The march on Washington was damn right. The march on Washington was the submission to the slave masters to say, master, we begging you to feed us. We're going to be your servant. The march on Washington was a declaration to go back into slavery. That's what the march on Washington was. It was a declaration, like the man freed you, emancipated you 100 years ago. Right. Now, here it is 100 years after he emancipated you. You ain't been able to do nothing with yourself. You ain't come together with nothing for yourself. You didn't work on no program for yourself. And now 100 years later, you back before the same man that's enslaved you. You back before his table saying, master, we want you to hear us, that we'll be your slave if you would just feed us. Right. If you would just give us some housing. If you would just give us a few of the things that we need, we'll come. That's what that really was, regardless of what they call it. or say that it was. It was a declaration to go back into slavery.
Right.
You should have turned to the Lord. We should have followed what the Lord said. You understand? Instead of rebelling against the Lord, talking about we're going to eat pork, we've been eating pork, we ate pork in slavery. We should have ended that kind of behavior.
Right.
And we should have then turned around and helped ourselves. We should have really recognized that scripture when the Lord said that that we would have worked together as one nation, that we would not put a stumbling block in front of our brother. Why didn't we recognize those things? Instead, we wanted to apply every good-hearted scripture that the Lord gave us to apply to each other. We went and applied it to the white man. Every if your enemy hunger, feed him. Instead of applying it to us, we went and applied it to them. Right. We went and cared for them, loved them. And then he found out later on that it was an evil system. What did he say? It was an evil system.
Right.
You damn right. And you made us go submit to some evil system, man. When what we should have been doing is helping ourselves. We was already emancipated. Yeah, now we got to come to the end. Now we need the Lord to deliver us, because now we ain't got we as a people are destroyed, and now we need help because now they want to wipe us off the map. So now you can't even. You had 100 years coming up to that point. You had 100 years to that point. You could have went down to every farmer, every black person, people that were coming up from the South. You could have organized in every city. You could have came together and did all those things that in the 70s, after this fool got killed, that's what every group went to do afterward. That's what Stokey did. H. Rat Brown did with the Panthers. That's what every group went and did. Right. After he got killed, every group said, we got to go help ourselves. We got to organize. You heard what Stokey said in that tape. We gotta love one another. It can't be no enemies among us. That's why he was saying that.
Right.
Because they realized after this idiot got killed that they had to come together and help themselves.
Right.
Which is what we should have been doing 100 years ago, and we definitely should have been doing when he came on. But like we brought out earlier, this cat here was part of the Big Six, which were really run by the alphabet agencies to coddle us together and put us in slavery, and it worked. For 75 more years, all we did was destroy ourselves by all the things that he brought out decade after decade after decade after decade after decade, right on up until today.
Right.
So, Lakia, I yield.
Damn right. Give it up. Give it up. If you could skip to the next minute mark, Raj.
Legislation. I think the only thing that changes the mind of a policeman like that is to sue him and to convict him. And to convince him that the Constitution has some control over that billy club he has in his hand.
Is there anyone who is planning to do this? Robert?
Well, now we're entering into one of the most difficult areas of civil rights, because the whole area of convicting a policeman for depriving a man of his civil rights has to be proved down to the last period and comma. Not only that, his intent has to be proved.
If you could, I'm sorry, Cat.
Get out, Joe.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Like, we really need to learn how to read these things. Because did you hear his spirit on the first half of the civil rights thing he was saying? This same brother. Right. He was fully enthused when he was saying the way you got to do it is this and that and this and that.
Right.
Then when the other brother said, well, who's going to do it? Then you heard him say, well, it's very difficult. One of the most difficult. He was already defeated.
Right.
He shouldn't have opened his mouth if he knew that it was near impossible for him to do that.
Exactly.
Why would you suggest to black people to do something that was the harder that you knew couldn't be done?
Right.
When you could have simply said, well, black people gonna have to move away from white people. The only way for you to stop him from attacking you is if you are nowhere around him. That's how because he's an animal, and convicting him is near impossible. And now, for those that don't know, Trump is bringing back quality, what is it called? Qualified immunity. So if he kill you by accident, he don't go to jail or even be charged for it.
Damn.
The state gets charged for it. So you can sue the state for money in compensation, but you cannot touch that officer if he get back to qualified immunity. He lost it a minute ago under Biden when we rioted over George Floyd. Then they turn around and they took it away. But that was the same stupidity by the same Uncle Tom niggas that was trying to get us to think that was how we was gonna solve the movement. And the minute they removed qualified immunity from cops, all of a sudden they ended the whole movement. And all the cops did was move out to the suburb, quit those city jobs, moved out to the suburbs, and left the cities as much as they could. And now Trump gonna bring it back. All the cops gonna want to come back now because they can now beat your head in and not have to go to jail. When this big six should have come together and told us that you got to get away from this man. Otherwise, he's going to be abusive to you. But they couldn't see forward to that because they was caught up in their own ego and in their own inflated mind that they were educated and that they had some kind of great civil rights movement that was going to fix this problem when they was all being run by the alphabet group.
Yeah, right.
The water. So lucky for letting me cut it.
Play.
Have an additional weapon, and that is the ballot.
Yes,
the vote, and which is why all of us here are pushing a voter registration drive. If Negroes are registered in large numbers down there in Greenwood, then the police, of course, will take a different point of view. And in Danville also, because they'll know then that they have to be responsible and responsive not only to white voters, but to Negro voters as well.
White people in the South and in the North need education on this matter. I don't mean education on humanity as to Negroes, but they need education on the constitutional rights of Negroes and on the fact that he's a citizen. He's been here 344 years, and to hear some of them talk, they'd say, look what we're doing for you people.
Mm-hmm. If you've never been
in
Mississippi,
Salakia, if I could.
Get out, Joe.
I'm sorry.
No, get out, Joe.
Cap is 75 years later.
Right.
I show you how these educated fools. Like it's 75 years later, and this nigga back then was saying, you got to educate white and black people on the constitutional rights of black men. 75 years later, do you think they give a damn about our constitutional rights? Not a damn.
Damn right.
Okay? They didn't give a damn. Once they had qualified immunity, they didn't give a damn about our rights. You couldn't charge him anyway. What you gonna educate him on? You gonna educate him on something that he ain't never got to be concerned about?
Right.
Why the hell would he care? That's the same as, you know what else is stupid like that? Sensitivity training. You're gonna send him to train him to be more sensitive to the way he's abusing blacks and Latinos. We making the same dumb argument 75 years later, which is why you got to serve the Lord. Because if you don't serve the Lord, you'll be serving something for 100 years that'll never change a damn thing. That'll never fix families. That'll never empower black men to be in charge of their families, to encourage each other, to help each other, to be down with one another, to separate from the man that's killing them. You'll never get to no point where you can move forward when you got to churn and churn and churn in the same abusive situation, because every decade he comes out with a new device on how to destroy you, and you got to fight through that device just to start all over again at the next decade. And then he just does it again and does it again and does it again and does it again. I stopped off at crack in the 80s, but I'm sure he came out with different drugs in the 90s and then came out with different drugs in the 2000s. Then got to the point where the drugs was being prescribed by the doctor. And God knows what other things he put in place at the same time. Along with them drugs in the 80s, he brought in rap music. Well, not brought it in because we created it, but he turned rap music around.
Right.
Mass incarceration. Who knows what he's doing right now? He's
right.
more subtle and sophisticated in what he does right now than ever before. So you can best believe he's doing something. You just may not know right away what he's doing. Or he ain't doing nothing because he undecided he just gonna exterminate us, like Bill Gates said. You know what I mean? We just get that number down a few billion, we'll be all right. Like Kamala Harris said when she was running for president, said if we invest in depopulation, we all will live and breathe cleaner air. The hell is that?
Right.
Salak, I yield.
Damn right, give it up. I'm gonna pass it to y'all. I just want to say, which is so prophetic, General, one of the things that they doing to us is definitely mind control through this media. You know what I mean? And I think you got that town hall meeting coming up first in New York, but also you got one coming up in California where I believe you're gonna be going into porn and video games. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
When you just saying, you know, you wonder what they doing to us, you already know what they doing to us because you coming with the town hall meeting in California, which everybody we'll give the date of that town hall meeting, the California cookout. Big shout out to Captain Gadalha as well and the whole Cali, you know what I'm saying, for the cookout they're gonna be doing. But I'm sure in that town hall meeting when you break down the porn and video games, how it is basically systematic mind control us to not have us focused on what we should be doing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I just want to big up you on that one, General. You know,
on Christ, man. For water for the plug. I tell you, that's absolutely right. Yeah. Like that's what they're doing. Like, there's a reason black men are not having sex with their women. It's a reason that you got erectile dysfunction. You know what I mean? It's a reason that all that is going on out here. And you can best believe if you ran it to ground, some alphabet agency is in the background, you understand, working that deal. What black people got to learn is you have never been at peace in this place. Right. That you have never not been under attack in this place. Right. You've been going to work and coming home and partying on the weekend and never knowing that you're in the middle of a people that are trying desperately to wipe you out. Right. And that they're working harder and harder and harder every decade to come up with new ways to lower your population and wipe you out. I yield to Logi Cat.
Right. I will.
Slice, General, just referring to the video we just watched. This is, of course, just my personal opinion. It's just something about a Negro in a suit and tie that I just can't. Anytime I see a suit and tie, I'm like going the other way.
You know what I would love? You know, it's almost like they put on a uniform of a swindler.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like right. you see that suit, and it's like, this is the uniform of a swindler right here. And is he here to, what is he here to convince me of with this suit on? So Locky, I agree with you 110%.
They're right. If you could, Aki, you guys on my below? No. If you could, General, we're gonna show the results of following those simple black leaders after the 1963 march on Washington. In 1967, 4 years later, you had 150 race riots across the country. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna show the results of us so-called coming together with white people. If you could play the next tape.
Freud. Law and order have become obsessions on Capitol Hill, and the main direction of congressional movement is toward investigating committees, anti-riot bills, gun control legislation, more police support.
My fellow Americans, we have endured a week such as no nation should live through, a time of violence and tragedy. I'm tonight appointing a special advisory commission on civil disorders.
That first day, the very first meeting, it's clear John Lindsay and Fred Harris wanted to push the committee into dealing with the root causes of racial unrest, which they believe was poverty and a sense of powerlessness.
Wait, stop right there. Stop right there for 1 second, if you could, Cat.
Law enforcement to crush.
Let me tell you something, Mark. This is a powerful tape. Because you're getting ready to get an insight on how the devil operates. Like these two cats that he just mentioned, they know that the problem is poverty. So they ready to go and have the committee look into all those things that bring us to this poverty. But there are three-letter agencies who are running other people. And those other people are going to want something else, as you about to see. And you're going to see how and why that even looking into those things was of no use to us, simply because they will focus on a different thing. And that different thing is what we got in 2025, all the years in between. You're going to see it as he bring it out now. Salaki, if I could, I yield.
Future uprisings. And in every debate, just about, those two are on opposite sides.
I remember the commission spending well over an hour haggling over 2 sentences.
I thought, and so did John Lindsay, that it was highly important to use the word racism, to say white racism. We
Please, Salaki to the audience. Salaki to the audience. You see how these two cats, they wanted to say it was racism. They wanted to say it's the poverty you put these people. They trying to come halfway right. They want to bring this thing the way it's really, they want to tell the truth. It really is your racism that led to this. It's really you putting them in poverty that led to this. But then that's why he said earlier, they sat on the other side of the table, because there's something else on that other side that helped destroy us. You're going to see right now. Go ahead.
We really needed to shock people by the use of that term, and to get people to have, make people have to think about that and talk about it, and size up history in terms of racism as it had existed from the first. We also wanted to say to young black people particularly, you're not crazy. There is systematic racism.
You see that? Salakia.
Get out, Joe.
And that's a black man, by the way. He looked like an Edomite. But that's him. That's him sitting in that room. Okay. I don't think that's him, but that's him right there. He's I believe he's a black man. I could be wrong. I think he's one of the black men that was on that committee sitting in the room, but I could be wrong. But my point is this, that he saw what it was and wanted to tell black people, you're not bugging out. There is systematic racism because, of course, like Yaradon brought up earlier, one of the major issues with us is them always blaming us for things that they're doing in the dark that we don't know about. And those two cats wanted to tell black people, you're not crazy. There is systematic racism working against you. You are striving to be better, but failing, just like we always talk about in the scriptures where the Lord said, where the Lord came back and said that the Egyptians said, let us deal wisely with them. Meaning the Egyptians in the dark, without us knowing it, putting things in place to destroy us. America did exactly the same thing. And black people was frustrated and rioting because they can't understand why they can't get ahead. Right now, today in America, black people don't understand how the hell did they end up on the bottom, and all the other nations got businesses in their neighborhood and making more money and running over the top of them. And all they bosses and all they doctors is East Indians and all that. They don't understand how this happened. Well, this happened because this man did this systematically, which you would have to do in a capitalist society or you couldn't make money. The whole point of a capitalist society is to make money off of another nation. That's the point of it, is to gobble up what that nation has so that that nation constantly loses and you constantly win. And that's what's happened to black people. But we brainwash into thinking we got to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, that this is our fault, that we the ones that caused this, that we got to get our act together. When all the while, these cats is sitting at the top. They in there with the White House, with the president. They on his committee. And them two Edomites right there, or possibly a brother, they turned around and said, what, black people, you're not crazy. There is systematic racism against you. And who else is saying that? The Israelite School of UPK. Stop blaming yourself. Stop looking at yourself as the problem. I just had to bring that out, Cat Salakia.
Yeah, no, I ain't no sweat journal. Like this cat here speaking that said that journal was actually a white man. This cat was actually an Edomite.
Oh, okay, my bad. I thought he was the jit.
No, ain't no sweat journal. This is actually one of the last survivors who did the Kerner report.
Oh,
but if you look at that video, some of the cats that was sitting in there in that committee or whatever was actually part of the Big Six. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, they were sitting in there with these cats on the whole Kerner commission or whatever.
More proof that the Big Six was run by the alphabet agencies. Because why is a white man standing up and saying that and not them?
Count them, John.
Salakia, you.
Yes, sir. You finish. Go ahead, Prince.
The word racism didn't sit well with some members of the commission. Some thought it was too harsh, that we ought to use softer words like intolerance or discrimination or whatever. And we had a vote. It was a 6-5 vote within the commission in favor of saying racism. There was a lot of compromise involved. We thought if we can't come together, there's no hope the country can.
Only if those who were most conservative on the commission endorsed the strong findings that we had made would it have an effect on white America in general. And the report was written for white America. Black people didn't need to be told that racism was a central problem in their lives.
Give it up for that.
Damn right.
Joe, we got another last tape, which is going to further expand on the Kerner report.
Hey, you mind if I just bring one point out about this here?
Please, General, get down, sir.
That it was heavy how he knew that the white people had to be told that racism was their problem, and that if they wanted to fix this problem, they was going to now have to not be racist. Here's the problem with that. That doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like that report was the proof that we should not have integrated with them, because that report showed that the solution to this whole problem is the racism in the heart of you white people. Now, how are you going to fix a problem when it's in the heart of the people of the very country you're in to not change that racism? And they went about for 75 years trying to fix white people's hearts until Donald Trump got in office and said, to hell with that, be as racist as you want, in essence. In essence. They spent 75 years trying to fix something that white people, that's ingrained in white people, and they failed. And here we are. I just need to add that to the whole thing. Salakia.
No, I ain't no sweat. Go ahead, get down, y'all done.
Also, I wanted, if I could just add toward the end where they talking about that, like this is strictly, you know what I'm saying, for white Americans, because, you know what I'm saying, the black people already know. What's sad is, like, today in our times, like, you know what I'm saying, we are facing the time to where, like, our people need to see videos like this to remind them of, you know what I'm saying, the racism or the systemic racism that happen, because it seems like that we are losing touch on the fact, or we have a white mindset when it comes down to the systemic racism of our people. You know what I'm saying?
Man, right, that's heavy.
So heavy. That's exactly what's in our mind.
Man, right. Joe, we got one last tape to play, if you didn't mind, Joe.
Yeah, come on, let's jump in. We done ran 3.5 hours. I see that old revolutionary thing is in y'all blood. I give it a job. 3 hours. I give it another camp. I give it another camp. We in there for 45 minutes. I give it y'all in 3 hours.
We appreciate having you, sir.
Hey man, I appreciate being here. You don't know.
This definitely has been a 3-hour masterpiece. You know what I mean? That we should definitely put out there for everybody to see. You know what I mean?
Damn right, for sure, for sure.
We were not really shocked or surprised to find these terrible conditions in which black people lived in this country. But we put actual faces on the problems by going out to the country and by the work that the commission did. And we also saw what hostility there was in the country. We met right away after the president appointed us, and we set up a series of 20 days of formal hearings where we heard witnesses all the way from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to the head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover. And then we broke up into teams and visited riot cities ourselves. And we said that that the terrible conditions gave rise to these protests and riots, that any spark could set off the violence. The underlying causes were racism and poverty. The most famous words of the commission were these: our country is moving toward two nations, one black, one white, separate and unequal. And we recommended new national programs, particularly around jobs and education. It was controversial. My own father, a small farmer in southwestern Oklahoma, he said, what you're saying is that a person like me ought to pay more taxes to help poor black people who are rioting in Detroit. That's the way a lot of people heard it. President Johnson was convinced that there was some organization, some conspiracy, some planning behind these riots, which had occurred in cities all over the country, large and small. Later on, the president began to change his mind. We made progress, serious progress, on virtually every aspect of race and poverty in the country for about 10 years after the Kerner report. For example, we were very steadily reducing poverty in the country. The findings, of course, are still quite good, and the recommendations as well. You're not going to have the kind of stable society of self-esteem unless we have a good deal more equality in this country. America is founded really on the idea that all of us are created equal, and we ought to have equal opportunities for the good life. That was certainly not true then. It's not true now.
That was it, John.
Yeah, it is. Like, they went and did that whole report and found out that really all this was racism, and then put in these programs to try to help blacks come up, but didn't put in any programs to try to let blacks help themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he said, surrounded around education and poverty.
Yeah.
They didn't put in programs to show blacks how to manufacture themselves, how to farm and bring that food straight to the table from the dirt to the table and make a profit off of it in its cities. They didn't teach any of that. You know what I mean? Everybody else learns that from the gate in their country. You go to any country around the world, you go to any country, any Caribbean island, anywhere, they all learn how to set up stores, set up businesses. They all learn how to buy and sell from damn near from a child. From a child, they understand buying and selling is how you gain a profit and how you feed yourself, but not us. We're taught in here, you get your education and then you go get a job. When in fact, it has driven us into the ground because, of course, there are no jobs, and the minimum wage on them jobs, you can't even live off of. If you're making a $15 an hour job, you back on welfare, basically. You still back on welfare, living under the poverty line. So they didn't do anything. Right. You know what I mean? But had you, once again, like we've been saying from back in the days, had we been not wiped out with drugs, we would have built our businesses. Our sons and daughters would have been able to take over those businesses. Our brothers who committed crimes and was put in prison would have come out of prison and would have been able to get jobs among us based on the kindness of us. That's the other thing. What'll destroy a people in a great number is if all their charity comes from the people that enslaved them. If none of their charity come from their own, they'll never have the right spirit to care for their own. And they'll do just what we do, which is go out and kill each other first. Because there is nobody helping us. There's nobody among us helping us. There's nobody to go to among us when you're struggling and when you have hard times. Even the church, as rich and glorious as it looks, even they won't reopen the coffers to help you when you're down. So you become bitter. You become angry. You become a person with loss. So when here comes the nice talking white person offering you, you know, A, B, and C crumbs, of course you want to gravitate to them. And you're going to hate any black man that comes out and says, no, look at them for the enemy they are. You're going to say, hell no, in your heart of hearts. Even if you don't say it outside, you're going to say in your heart of hearts, they're the ones that fed me when I was struggling. They're the ones that helped me when I needed it.
Right.
So why should I show you love when they're the ones that gave me when I didn't need it? And they did that on purpose. So you would never turn back to how to fix. Now is more difficult than ever on how to fix you and your own. When after that Kerner report, them Uncle Tom Big Six Negroes should have been saying to themselves, if racism is the problem. Now they went and had a whole top, highly educated commission that said racism is the problem that have brought us to poverty and to riots. So what would any sensible man say that we should do? Now we should open up ways to finance and educate ourselves. So we'll be both educated, on the cutting edge, and have the finances that we need to help ourselves. But did they do any of that? No. They went right back into begging the slave master more. Like he showed you, I've been your enemy. Now this is the 60s. This is 100 years after civil rights. He came up to the honest conclusion that our racism is the reason you ended up in this poverty so bad to the point where you rioted in the streets. It's our fault. You're not crazy. Now, when he came to that conclusion, why didn't we have a decent, good black leader that would turn around and say, well, if that's the case, then we're going to get away from you and take you out of the equation so that you no longer have the ability to make us poor and destroy us as a people. So we'll take that out from under you. And instead, we'll rely on ourselves. We'll fix our own roads towards better life. And then when things get bad, it's only our fault. And you could be as racist as you want. As long as you can't take it away from us, then we have nothing to worry about. We'll just be two people in a nation that hate the guts out of each other, but none of us will end up in utter poverty anymore unless we attack the other one. Like that's how it should have went in this country, which is how it was going in Egypt until they was wise with us in Egypt and cut us off and put us into that captivity by destroying our ways of life. And that's how you enslave a people that's close to you. You destroy their ways of life and don't tell them how you did it. So they can't look at you as the enemy. They look at themselves as the enemy. Meanwhile, you're in the background destroying them for the sole purpose of keeping yourself on top and them on the bottom. That's been our life in this kingdom. And it is the reason we should turn back to Yahushua. It is the reason we should turn to our King and begin to help ourselves and follow those laws, statutes, and commandments, which will give us the perfect road outside of slavery. Let me tell you something, last point. The God of the Bible is a God that always delivers people out of slavery. What better God should we ever follow than a black God that frees us from slavery? That's the God of the Bible, and Yahweh is his name. I yield to water for having me on the show.
Man, listen, General, man, we appreciate you having you. If I could just pull one scripture just to end it all, General.
Please.
The brothers pull Genesis chapter 25, verse 21, if you could, Ash.
Kana Wakan, the book of Genesis chapter 25 and verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
Keep going.
Verse 22. And the children struggled together.
And the children did what?
And the children struggled together.
On this last tape, you seen that the cat said that America was becoming two different nations. America has always been two different nations.
That's right.
You understand? The white man, which is the oppressor, and the slave, which has been blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. The scriptures say the children struggled together, meaning they fought in the womb. You understand? Meaning this, that these people were created to be our enemy. And if the children fall in the womb, then that means it's in white people's DNA to hate you, man. Right. They don't understand. Even when you go to vote for them or you complain to them about your problems. Did you see that one tape when the black dude was talking with the students? Did you see the white dude's face? He had blinked his eyes like, man, shut up already. They don't care about your problems, man. They the one caused it. It ain't in them to understand. And that's why the children fall together. The Lord was trying to show us something. Even way back then. Keep going.
Kana Wakan, within her. And she said, if it be so,
come on.
Why am I thus?
Why am I what?
Why am I thus?
Keep going.
And she went to inquire of the Lord. Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 what?
2 nations are in thy womb.
The cat said on the video, we become 2 different nations. We 2 separate people, man. It ain't ever gonna be peace with us and white people in America. You can forget about that. We didn't try for 400 years. That ain't something that's ever gonna happen, and it ain't nothing that God wants to happen. That's what you don't understand. That's what the Lord's showing you right here. It is 2 different people in the womb. We're gonna always be enemies. And the Bible says what? Never trust thine enemy.
That's right.
You understand? So keep reading.
Kana Wakan. And 2 manner of people.
2 what?
2 manner of people.
We totally did 2 totally different people. Keep going.
Shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Man, that one people that's stronger than the other is talking about us. That's why anytime we get on an even playing field with them, namely sports, you understand, we the more dominant factor because the Lord created us to be stronger than them. So don't ever think they're going to ever put you on an equal playing field socially because they know that you're stronger than them. And so I just want to pull that scripture, Jenna, just to close it out if I could, John.
Damn right. Heavy scripture too.
Man, with that, we're going to go ahead. Again, the Water Generals for joining us on the Round Table of Truth this early morning special. Get the General hand again. Yeah, man.
My pleasure.
We're going to go ahead and salute the General like always, Akim, if I could.
Yahanna Shimel Shabrakathum.
Yahanna Shimel Shabrakathum. The Water Akim. Appreciate you.
Again, man, the water for everybody for joining us on the Round Table. Truth been a real special episode. We wanted to play this one a few times. This is a classic. You know what I'm saying? Great job, everybody, man, on the show as well. Y'all down. What we got going on later tonight, if you could?
Yeah, tonight, you know what I'm saying, if everybody could tune in to All the Facts, you know what I'm saying, we will be on with Fred Hampton Jr., you know what I'm saying, Captain Marquardt, holding it down as usual, man, ISUPK, you know what I'm saying, making moves in Chicago. I don't want to
damn right. Big shout out to All the Facts. What's the host's name again?
His name is D.
Big shout out to D for having us on with the brother tonight, man. We're gonna go ahead and get it in. What's the start time of that?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. We're gonna be getting on All the Facts. I think we're gonna shoot live from my end as well. You know what I'm saying? So join us tonight for that, man. Steady putting in this work and doing what it do. All right. With that, I want to give it up to my host for joining me here today on this Round Table of Truth. To my left, we got Officer Yahanna. Give him a hand. Yahanna, please plug what you need to plug, brother.
First off, you know what I'm saying, pay your tithes to isupk.com. You know what I'm saying?
Damn
Make
right,
sure you
damn
pay your
right.
tithes to the priests and prophets of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Also, with that, if you looking for any of the merch that you see here on the Round Table of Truth or all throughout Israel, you know what I'm saying, go to diversitymall.com.
Damn right. Give it up. Give it up. You know what I mean? I also want to give it up to Officer Iwalum. You got anything, Iwalum?
Yeah, come concerns. If everybody could make sure that you join Officer Karyash this upcoming Thursday for the war report, giving you World War III updates.
Damn right. Make sure y'all tune in for that. Also want to give it up to Officer Mariah Yala. Give it up for Mariah Yala. Mariah Yala, got any closing statement?
If I could, every Saturday is the Lord's Day, meaning the Lord's Sabbath service. We start at 10 a.m. from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Me, Officer Vadaza Mayad. If Officer Mayad is not here, we get a brother to fill in. You know what I'm saying? Officer Rum, 1,000 of rum. You know what I'm saying? Tune in every Saturday from here on out. Coming soon, Slacky, we will have breakfast and steak. No, breakfast and wine.
That would look. The brothers gonna come. Look, you gonna have a full. You gonna have a packed house at the Sabbath service. All right, man. Give it up. You know what I mean, for the brother. We also want to give it up to Officer Ashaya, man, for joining us here tonight, man. Any closing statements, Ash?
Yeah, come, sir. I'll just say the water for having me on the panel with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Holding it down. One hell of a show, Cap. You know what I'm saying? So, also, too, man, join us tomorrow night, Monday evening. Me and Brother Officer Mapatazar, we're gonna be getting it on, doing some covering some stories that we ain't touch on. So make sure y'all check us out, man.
Damn right. Get it on, man. Right, live from the Round Table of Truth. You understand? We in a minute we're gonna be 7 days a week in this
content.
They gonna say, "Dad, they running the 7-week cycle."
Right.
All right, man. Listen, man. We also want to give it up to our engineers, man. Do an excellent job. Work extra hard to make sure that this thing, the content getting shown properly and all this technical thing, man. Give it up for Officer Aramawan, man. You know what I'm saying? Doing what he do. And his right hand man on the technical team, none other than Officer Raj Karab. You understand? And join the Ashaya tomorrow night. We got Officer Mapatazar. You understand?
The chef of the
Midwest make the best barbecue in the nation down there. You understand? That lamb, he had lamb falling off the bone. You know when it fall off the bone, this is a serious thing. Man. You understand? So with that, man, I am Captain Malquad, under Commander Jenny Yahanna. Another Round Table True exclusive. We see y'all again next Friday. Shalom.
TV. We got a cookout at Thomas Jefferson Park. It's gonna be August 30th, 31st. Make sure y'all come out there. That's open to all my people and my people only. That's right. And with that, I say shalom. Form yourself.
All right, listen. I just want to point something out here.